What's up, Dodo? I hope you're ready for 2 hours of a screeching, annoying, dumbass lady. I saw a little clip of it and I was like, we gotta watch this.
Yeah.
To a white man sitting and saying to me, and why were we able to commit genocide on them? And then just pausing
Yes.
is very visceral to me.
It's interesting that you brought up my skin color because I thought that was the exact opposite of what the point you're trying to make in the book.
You're very reductive. I thought you were a lot more intellectual than this.
I think
What a cunt, bro. Yo, Sad, what's up? ¿Cómo estás? Oh, there is no news.
this is very revealing. So you're not reaching anyone who's listening to this conversation by doing that.
Well,
my point. So
you don't know that.
if you listen to what I was saying, it's actually perfectly logical and
This is
reasonable.
quite controlling what you're doing now. Well, what you said was
You can already tell. This lady is a massive fucking feminist. So it's not gonna go well for this lady. Like, it's one of those feminists that like say stupid shit, and then when you push back on them, they're like, "I am aghast. You dare disagree with me?" You know. So I saw like a little tiny 1 minute snippet of it, and I was like, "We were watching that." I always love a dumb bitch get put in her place.
quite significant
Was it
to
offensive?
me. It was quite. It wasn't. It's not that it was offensive. It's scared to me.
Deborah Francis White of the Guilty Feminist podcast. Welcome to Trigonometry.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
Horribly kind.
this is a surprising meeting of the minds because I think it's fair to say that your podcast is one of the kind of
Easton's raid. Iron Wolf with the raid. I literally just went live. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope you had a good stream. What have you guys been doing these days? Because Tekken 8 is in a terrible fucking place, right? Hope you find a different game to ease your mood, mind. I suppose they both work.
arch pillars of progressive thought certainly in our space. And you reached out to us saying you have a book out, you want to come and talk to us. It's fair to say that we're not one of the pillars of the woke space in our space. So what are you doing here?
Well, what a great question. My good friend Johan Hari told me. I
Wait,
should come on your show,
4,000 for the
and
next.
I think,
For the Gambia, 4K for the
had it
Gambia,
been for my
Dodo.
book, The Guilty Feminist,
Well,
I would have said
3.5.
probably not. This isn't the right space for it. But my new book is called 6 Conversations We're Scared to Have, and it's
Wait.
about.
That's the important one. Her new book, right? 6 conversations we're scared to have and how to navigate them. She didn't actually say the title. But keep in mind, that's the name of her book. Now watch the see fumbles. How to have a conversation.
How I feel about the landscape now. I feel like the political landscape now. I feel like progressive.
Once she gets any type of pushback whatsoever, I guarantee you she's gonna crumble like a fucking
constantly having
like a Jenga
I would
tower.
say,
You know?
being obsessed with trivial pursuits, small level slights, this use of language, that use of language. Meanwhile, there's this huge polarizing gap that is increasing every day, and we've seen this, in the last couple of months in America, and an extraordinary chasm has opened up between the left and the right. I feel like the far right, which is quite sinister, is really making gains.
Okay, make it
And
bigger.
so
How do I make it smaller
my
now?
book is about how to have
It's a little too
conversations
big.
better, both with people on your side of the divide, but also reaching across the divide. So I can't really then say,
Oh,
you think
minus.
differently from me, I don't want to come and talk to you. That's exactly what I need to be doing. And I listened to your podcast, and I also felt like you guys were like reasonable, and I could have a good chat to you. What I'm not interested in doing is, when you go on the BBC and they say, "Oh, you've got to talk to this person for balance," and there's somebody that is actually quite, like for me, someone who goes, "I don't believe in climate change at all. I think feminists are bitches and witches. I'm like, well, it just would take too long in a 20-minute interview to get there.
Bro,
so what are we
he's
doing?
going, okay,
And then I think
he's
we
going
need to
full
eradicate
speed,
gladiatorial arena
6
sports.
second flight
So,
time. Well, now it's
I
5
want to
seconds.
talk
Why
to
the fuck did
people
I
who
still
think
miss
we're intelligent, who think
in
differently from
front?
me.
Shouldn't I have missed
Because
behind?
otherwise, what are
I
we
don't
doing?
understand this new
We're sitting
crosshair
there
then.
congratulating ourselves in our little group. And
Marvin
ultimately,
gave
the
me.
reason I wrote this book is because when I was 14, my family joined the Jehovah's Witnesses, and the Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult.
I just realized I'm not repairing.
I say that because
I'm gonna get killed.
it is true. A useful definition of a cult is any group that won't let you leave with your dignity intact. And it's a shaming and shunning group. So if the elders come around and tell you, and the elders are just some men who nominate each other in the congregation, that they have regular jobs, they're not particularly trained or anything. And if they come around and tell you
That was the first game.
it's too short,
Nobody
or
saw
you
that.
need
Nothing
product
happened.
to cheat
Nothing
product,
happens. Nothing happened between 1938 and
you
1945.
don't listen, you can be formally shunned. It means people will cross the road to avoid you, pretend they can't see you. It's a name, shame, shun religion.
We're not talking about it ever again.
It's very
Erased from our
patriarchal, it's run
memories.
entirely by men. And I lived in that. I had to get out of it, and I lost all my friends. I couldn't speak to anybody I knew and loved for many years, and I had to start over again. And then I wasn't in a cult for a long time. And then in the last 10 years,
Okay, it's the
I've
same
been
mission.
feeling
What do we
like
even
I
have to
want
do?
be
Because I was not paying attention at
one.
all.
Because I think
Okay, is that
the
one? Okay.
world is now a series of interconnecting cults.
My bad.
Where we're all in our own little group, and in order to be part of this group, we have to say these things, repeat these things. If we have questions about these things, or we think, I don't think that part of it's right.
See,
can I have a reasonable
redo.
discussion
The last
about
one
that?
didn't
We're
happen.
also
It's the
gonna
same
shut
game.
it down.
Everything
I
looks
see
exactly the
that
same.
on both sides.
I'm
of
totally
the
still in the
political
same game,
divide. I
guys.
see that on the left, and I see that on the right.
I didn't get immediately murdered.
And so that's why I wrote this book.
That's a very good point, and I think right now that is clearly happening on the right as well. Like I experience this on a daily basis. There's a whole bunch of narratives that people on the right in America have about Ukraine, and anytime I'm like, well, factually, actually, you're with them then. I see that a lot, and I think that's human behavior. What I found interesting is, and this is what I'd be keen to explore as part of this conversation, if you don't mind, is you said in the blurb for your book that you're not anti-woke.
I don't think I would have. Did I say anti-woke? I don't think I would have used the word woke, but maybe I did.
It says in the blurb of the book, but I guess
I'm definitely not anti-woke. No.
Yes.
But
what I was going to ask you is why is that? Why aren't you anti-woke?
Well, I think, what does woke mean to you? That's my question.
What
back.
all the very things that you said are the reason you wrote your book. The reason that people would say we're anti-woke, I'm certainly anti-woke, I have no issue describing it, is I'm anti the, oh, you used this wrong phrase, oh, you made fun of this thing that I don't like, oh, you're not sufficiently inclusive of this blah, 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 oh, you're a man, you need to be quiet while other people talk, all of this stuff. I reject this entirely. I reject the identity politics of it. I reject the censorship aspect of it. I reject the...
I don't understand this new crosshair, dude.
The
Like,
obsession with
Marvin.
victimhood, which I think is damaging, and it's
Yeah, let
making
me pause
people
this.
into victims.
Dude, am I gonna get murked again because of the guys on the other ends? Fuck. Those are my signs, by the way. I can't figure out how to turn them off again. I swear I did turn them off. Like, all the notifications are soundless, and yet, whenever Marvin says something, it goes bloop, 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 bloop. drives me nuts, man. I lost my PC, right? It's a brand new PC, brand new OS, and then oh my god, I'm gonna have to go over all of the settings again. I don't want to do it, but yeah, we're gonna have to at some point. Damn it. I was going north. Guy was going east to west. West to east. Guy's going west. So like, E. It said 5 and landed at 3. Like what the fuck?
That's what I mean by woke, and that's what I'm against.
So I think the reason I would describe
Alright,
myself
yeah.
as not anti-woke is because...
So I was
think
going
what a
this
lot of
way.
people
The
mean
destroyer
by
was
woke,
going that
it's
way.
It's a soup. It's a rich soup. So you can take out...
And I
certain
still
things
landed
that
in
are
front of
just-
him. Shouldn't I have landed behind him then?
I think a lot of people see
It was
as though
5-second
woke
flight
is,
time. I put the
you know,
5 like pretty
an
much at the
idea about
end of his
gender
boat.
or an idea about feminism.
And all of a
But
sudden
how
I'm still landing at
fully
like 4 and 3,
explored,
3,
it
between
just
3 and
sounds
4.
new, or
Of the
it
top
just
one.
sounds, you know, like something that I don't have any particular...
I don't like this mission. I immediately
knowledge
die every
of or
time.
empathy for, so that goes in the woke basket because it's new. So to name something that, to pull something out of a hat off the top of my head, there's a lot of diverse casting now. So I see people getting very angry when they see...
Oh, he was full speed. And it was a destroyer.
cast
So
on
it was at least
television
30 knots.
And there might be
He was
you know,
flying.
a couple of brown and black people in the cast, and they say, well,
Which is
they
why I
don't
even
need
took
to
like
be
a little
there,
bit
or
more,
this is
because I
not
figure, oh, he's going that
historically
fast.
accurate. And I get very, very angry about that. And I feel very strongly.
I don't know. I just don't know how to
that
fucking
we
read. I
want
mean,
our television
I assume I know
to
how to read it, but
represent
it's
the
never
people in our
anywhere
community.
near the fuck.
I live in London, and
It's really annoying.
I have very close friends, chosen family who are black and brown. Some of whom are actors, and I want to see them on TV. They're brilliant, and I really notice that when it first
Like, I was aiming,
happened,
right?
I might have noticed it, and then you get into a show and you don't notice. So even if something
So he's like
set in Victorian times and
flying.
you think, well,
So I
they might
used
not
the
be
top
black
one
or
because
brown,
it was definitely
you just
going
stop
fast
listening and you just
as
see
fuck.
it's a great
So the top one.
performance.
It's at 4
And then the
seconds.
other thing is, if
I
when
put
you
it at
dig
4.
deeper, you find out
And
because
like
there
4
were
was the
black and brown
front,
people in
5 was the
Victorian London
back,
at that
'cause
time,
I'm
and
figuring,
sometimes
like
people
you
say
said,
that person wouldn't have been black
it's
and brown.
not completely
Historically,
accurate.
when you look into it, they
So I
actually
figured he would
were.
go into it, and I still hit that like
That's an
3.
example of something that I think people just go woke.
Obviously, it goes along, right?
And
Because
I
we're
think,
locked
no,
onto the
that-
target.
That needs
Yeah.
more analysis, surely.
Fine, but
I don't know why. I don't
think there's
understand-
a lot to
I
put
don't
with
understand
that if
why.
you can, but I guess to most people, I don't think your characterization is
Th-
quite
this
accurate. I
is
don't
the
think
one
most
you're
people's
using, right? The
view
same
of what
one?
woke is this thing that they don't understand, but because it's new, they don't like it. It's more like suddenly we all have to pretend that if you say something that about your identity, now it's true. Like if I say I'm a woman, I become a woman in that moment. And a lot of people don't dislike that because it's new. A lot of people don't dislike that because they think it's factually inaccurate.
Sure. Well, that's a very, very big subject. And there's a very.
See, that's
very
what I was
big
doing on the original
chunk of
crosshair, man. I just like, I kind of
I
figured
think
out like,
that's
okay, if I
something
place it
that-
there, boom, done, hits perfect. And now I'm like, I can't hit fucking
What you
shit no
said
more.
there is,
Like,
is if someone says
It's
they're
so
a
annoying.
woman, you have
I
to
mean, I know I'll
accept
get used
Is
to
that
it.
what- Is that?
Yeah, but
Is that-
that's been
Fucking
the
hell.
line
I don't know how to
transfer
read these numbers. They
Right,
don't
and
make
if you
sense
Say
to me.
otherwise, you're a bigot.
Okay, so what I'm arguing in my book is I am looking at the historical fight for two other sorts of rights that has happened, and I say in the introduction actually.
Oh,
This
damn.
is a book of ideas.
I broke
And I know
everything
a
on
lot
that
of people
guy.
will go to this chapter first. It's called The Conversation About Gender Nonconformity. And I say, ideally read it in order because I'm building an argument. But if you do go here first, and if you are
Like right this,
triggered,
it's
you
4,
feel-
so if I
feel
put
like
it
you're part of
here,
us by
it should
this,
somewhat
if this is
land
something that
right.
you feel very, very strongly about, whatever side of this.
Yeah, see that it
wherever
landed
you
exactly where I
guys go
wanted
with
it
this
to. Why the
discussion
fuck
coming
did it
from,
land in front of the
please
destroyer?
be
The
aware
destroyer is
this
going
is
about as
some ideas
fast,
in a
to be
book of
honest.
ideas.
Like
This is not the first
visually
last
feeling
word.
speaking.
This is not a new.
I don't know why
doctrine
sometimes it just goes like
delivering
what?
for a new cult.
Maybe
This
that's
is
the
some
ship
ideas
just
in a
being
book of
French.
ideas.
Because it is a French ship.
So
No!
this is
I
a
shall shoot
complex
to the left,
discussion.
fuck you!
So anybody coming and going,
It was
"You're not a
literally,
woman,"
it was literally a
that's the
T.
end
I
of
was
it.
going that way, he
I
was
don't
going that
need to
way.
hear anything more about that.
Like, it
Or
couldn't have
anybody
been
coming in
a
and
more
going,
perfect fucking...
You're not allowed to ask any questions.
That's why I'm like, I'm so
about
confused with
sports.
these fucking
That's
numbers,
just the
dude.
end of it. Both of
It has to
those
be
I
the
would- I
Frenchiness,
would
of the
question, and I
Frenchiness.
would
The
say,
Frenchiness of the
this is a
ship.
big, complicated
I
topic.
swear.
And in my book, this is a book of ideas. This is a book
You
of
did?
ideas, and this is some ideas about gender.
So what are your
nonconformity.
ideas about it?
So I want to bed that down there, okay?
Okay.
Right, because he's going max speed, so at a
What
Nuremberg,
I'm
that's
doing
probably
is
like
first
30
of all
knots
looking at
almost.
how the brain works.
So it should be like here-ish,
and
right?
why our brain is sort of a prediction
Why he's turning
machine.
now.
It's the autocomplete on your phone, really. It's always going through the world, and it's
So it should land between 3 and
looking
4.
for things.
Look,
that
it's
aren't
5.
as
Why is it
the brain would
5?
expect them to be. So, if you got on a bus and the bus driver was dressed like
Oh
a
wait, it was
clown,
5 seconds.
you would
No,
know
I
it's
was
fake.
fucking... No,
There's no
never
reason
mind.
to suspect that clown is going to
That was my bad.
hurt you.
It was a 5-second flight
There's
time.
nothing pejorative about the bus driver being dressed like a clown, but you would notice. If you got on the bus driver was dressed as a bus driver, you probably wouldn't notice the bus driver at all. If if you're in London where you get on off buses, if you don't say anything to the bus driver, there's so many people. And someone said later, who was the bus driver? What they look like? You probably wouldn't know. But as soon as they're dressed like a clown, your brain goes, what? I've got questions. Now, the reason your brain can't do that every time, like a bus, like toddlers go, a bus driver. That's because they're still learning what's normal, what's to be expected. So we can't do that. Our brain's got stuff going on all the time, and it needs to save itself for all this other work. So if it's what's expected, it doesn't remain. So if 30% of bus drivers dress like clowns for a year, you would stop noticing.
I don't think I would, no.
You
I would continue to notice that they're dressed like
for how
clowns.
long?
For all eternity, because I know what a bus driver is supposed to look like.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
That's so your brain works different from other human beings then in that case.
Well,
because
if we accept your premise of how people's brains work, yes.
Okay.
My assertion to you is that a lot of people have a standard that they expect that they learn at a certain point, and they don't stop noticing things being different to that. Like if everybody started walking around naked, I wouldn't at one point go, actually, yeah, I don't remember a time when nobody. You see what I mean?
I do, but I think there's a whole different bunch of semiotics that go with nudity that don't go with clown costumes.
Fine. Whatever. Let's carry on with you, please. Carry
Okay,
on.
here's an example. In
I like how he's like, okay, whatever, move on.
1960s,
Next!
Mary Tyler Moore had to fight really hard to be allowed to wear trousers on screen because people still double taking at women wearing trousers. When women first started wearing trousers, women were arrested in trousers. Now, and I'll tell you, and it's because that's a gender signifier.
Because the patriarchy.
And it repulsed people, made it look weird. Same as long hair. Think about a Victorian man. Have you got a picture of a Victorian man, Oscar Wilde, in your mind?
What mission was
How
that
long's his
for?
hair?
Pretty long.
Pretty long, right. Why is short hair masculine? Any
Can you
ideas?
take us back to the trans bit, because I'm not following the connection.
Okay, so I'm taking you somewhere. Trust me, it's all right. We're getting there.
Okay.
So the reason short hair is masculine is because in the First World War,
She's so condescending the way
men
she
used
talks.
trenches
It's already getting on my
had to have
nerves.
short hair because the lice. And then other men who hadn't been down in the trenches wanted to
Oh, the
demonstrate they
shipyards.
could do as
Okay,
much
yeah,
work
I
as
went
the
way
trenches.
past that one.
By
I need
the
like a little bit more
1960s,
basic speed and I'll get my
Oscar
Gambia.
Wilde's long Victorian hair was
I'm pretty
so
sure we're
fair
almost there.
that when
Probably
men
get
walked
that
down
today.
the street with that longer hair that came in the 60s, other men would shout, "Oh, give us your handbag, love," and sort of sexist heckles. But that's how long it takes to get something to be normal or for something to be seen as femme or masc. That's why I say, if for all eternity you
The fact that she uses femme or mask is already like such a dead giveaway, bro. Is that just me? I hear those two words spoken like that, I know everything I need to know about this lady. I'm the bad guy in this case, probably, right? But if you use the term femme or mask, you mean feminine or masculine? Lady, it's 5 letters more. Just fucking say them out loud. Like... Wow. That stuff like that actually annoys me more than it should. I know, I shouldn't let that get to me, but it's words have fucking meaning. Don't just go shortening them. It sounds fucking stupid, and you sound stupid for saying them. I'm sorry. I don't care how polite you can talk. I don't care how nicely you're dressed up. If you say something like femme and mask, I'm immediately gonna think you're a fucking idiot.
Continue to notice clowns as bus drivers, even if you still had comments on them, you would start to edit them out because that's
I got it.
nobody now looks at a man with this sort of
Stole.
length hair and double takes, or looks at a woman in trousers and double takes, because as a society we get used to
Again, I
something.
know I'm probably the bad
So
guy on that
anything that's
front, but it's just
outside
like,
the norm.
why?
What happens is
Femme or mask?
we notice
Ugh.
it, and each generation has.
Oh, yeah, she'll
those
probably use
alarm
all of these
alerts,
words.
which is this could be dangerous because it's different. And we have that with gender. You can see it again.
Okay,
and again.
okay. The reason we're listening to this, let me find it. Hang on. This is a minute snippet out of. This is a 2 hour and 20-minute interview, but that's why I wanted to see it, because this is 1 minute out of that 2 hour and 20.
I'm not saying we were superior. I'm saying we were technologically more advanced. Would you
So you're
disagree
saying we're
with that?
superior to Australian Aboriginals?
That's quite the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm not saying we were superior. I'm saying we were technologically more advanced.
So how is that the opposite?
Superior implies a moral quality. I'm not making any moral implication. You seem to be, but
Okay.
what I'm saying is we
I think
were
most
Okay.
people would hear it that way.
no, I
Again,
don't-
you're a very intelligent man.
Words
How
have
do
meaning.
Most people hear that.
most people would hear what I'm saying for what I'm saying, which is
Don't think that.
you seem to get quite heated about this, which is completely unnecessary. You think it's necessary?
I'm a bit stunned by what you're implying.
No, you're
Stunned.
acting in a kind of
Okay, well,
passive-aggressive
yeah,
way,
okay,
which
lady.
indicates that you're not
I
happy about-
genuinely am being 100% authentic. My visceral reaction
Yeah.
to a white man sitting and saying to me, "And why were we able to commit genocide on them?" And then just
Now we need
pausing
someone that's even
Yes.
higher.
is very visceral
Well,
to me.
let's go back. First of all, it's interesting that you brought up my skin color because I thought that was the exact opposite of what the point you're trying to make in the book.
I saw that 1 minute and I was like, sold. We're gonna watch the podcast.
Again and again and again, and we know it's arbitrary because women were wearing trousers in Asia for hundreds of years when Western women went. That didn't look. It's not something absolutely normal or natural. So, what we have to do then is look at: is there any history of transgenderism throughout the ages? And I looked into this because I looked at indigenous societies, and I thought, well, there will be some, people fear what's different. So there will be indigenous societies where there weren't transgender people accepted. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I could not find any. It was completely normal in most societies for this to be not a binary thing, for it not to be male and female, but for it to be more like a scale. So if you walk past a building and, a bar, and someone says, "Is it loud in there?" you understand that that person is saying, yes, it is loud in there, but they mean loud for them, because there's loud and there's soft, there's high and there's low, there's young and there's old. We're all old to someone and we're all young to someone, right? We're all old to a 7-year-old, we're all young to an 80-year-old, right? So there's very few things where we go, it's this or it's that. You might have heard of the American Two-Spirit people, a Native American Two-Spirit. You guys
I'm
know
too
that?
short. Flight time's
That
too
was
low.
created like around in the 90s
God damn it!
at
I
a
knew it.
conference, an LGBTQ plus conference, when indigenous people, Native American
Okay, here's the actual fun part. I forgot to actually give you the best part about why we're watching this. Hang on, because I don't want to misquote the title. She wrote a book. What's her name again? He wrote a book called wait for it. 6 conversations we're scared to have and how to have them. So she wrote a book about tackling hard conversations and then how to have those conversations. and she's gonna do anything but be able to have conversation. Like, it's gonna be glorious. Like, that 1 minute really primed me, dude. If this is like a 2-hour letdown, I'm gonna be so upset, okay? Like,
People were like, we have to explain it to the Westerners because they keep using it was like a sort of slur for Indigenous queer people that was often used. And they said, right, they see it as this and that.
listen already the way she talks. Like, she's fully on board the colonialism train. You can totally tell. I don't know anything about this lady, but oh, the Westerners. Okay. We know exactly what you're trying to do already, right? See, this is the thing. Like, we also understand words and the meaning of words and the meaning that you're trying to convey when you use some words in some sentences.
So let's say we're two. So whenever you hear that third gender in Indigenous spaces, it's not really, that's done through a Western framework of two and therefore a third. But if you talk to people in Indigenous cultures, it's like it's not a third for us because it's more like a piano scale. So if that is in Indigenous cultures, it seems unlikely that there are no people in the West who also fit somewhere up and down this gender scale. And I think what's happened in the West is the legal framework is you've got to say you're male or you've got to say you're female, and that's it. So if I have to be in one of these boxes in order to get any rights, this is the one I belong in, because that's the one that feels more like me. But if you take it back to its kind of human roots, we're so obsessed with our own frameworks that we really do think there's no truth outside them. But one of the lenses I'm looking at this through is I'm adopted. I was given away at birth. In any other time before now, I would have been an orphan. Oliver Twist had one living parent. It doesn't necessarily mean both your parents are dead. It means no one in your family can or will look after you. And orphan rights is a fantastic, something I've written about in the book. If you look at orphan rights, it's absolutely fascinating. Orphans were massive scapegoats in Victorian times. If you adopt one, it will infect your children with immorality. They're not a natural child. Their mothers were immoral and poor, and they will be too. And so if you were lucky enough to be adopted in Victoria,
I'm gonna start having to learn
so you have to say
the
Mr.
top
and
speed of
Mrs.
some of these
Reed.
ships.
You can call them
To
mum and
Nuremberg,
dad.
shouldn't it be going like 35?
So if I had been adopted even some decades earlier, I couldn't have said mum and dad, and I wouldn't have thought of my brother and sister as my brother and sister. I would have been constantly told I was a charity case, I was a waif, I was a stray, I was a bastard, I was an orphan. And my parents would have been my guardians, and I would have been their ward legally. And if my mum and dad had gone around saying to people, this is our daughter, and people had found out I was adopted, they would have thought they were fantasists or liars, because you can't argue with biology. Now, at some point, society just decided that because orphans had such terrible low self-esteem, and 70% of the
So why did I have to shoot
population
in front of
UK
it? It was going
Victorian
full
times
speed.
were
You can see by the
orphans.
green
And
circle.
because
It's
of
fully
stories like
full.
Jane
That
Eyre and
means
Oliver
full
Twist,
speed ahead.
yeah, social activism and all
So,
that.
in 9
decided that
seconds,
children
and
are
still, I'm gonna
different.
land at like 7 or 8.
And so we did argue with biology, and we won. And that is why I have self-esteem and have had. a
Look,
good
I landed
education,
right
feel
on top of
supported by
7,
society.
but it's a
And I
9
didn't
second
even
hang
realise I
time,
was
and
an
he's going
orphan until I
30.
found
He's
my
going
biological
full knots.
mother and found out that from that time, some of newborn babies of my generation went to orphanages, and I cried for like 48 hours because I was just like, I'm an orphan, and I could have gone to an orphanage from birth. And children who are in orphanages from birth have massive issues, as you can imagine, because they don't have that attachment. And that made me feel really, really.
I forgot to press
sad
F.
and really like, oh, I would be a totally different person. And then you can parallel that with gay rights. If you look at the history of gay rights, in the 60s, many gay men were broken. You know, you watch something like The Boys in the Band, which is a play and it's been made into a movie about gay men in the 60s in New York.
Yes!
And how miserable
Oh my
they were, and
God.
how much self-loathing there was, and how they kind of
Are we done?
went for each other, because there were two options. One was be in the closet, be married, come and get hand jobs under the
Oh,
bridge.
there's still daily
the other was
vision.
be out and be giving the hand jobs under the bridge.
Oh, but that doesn't
And
need
that
to do
was
with them.
it.
It's
And so the misery those men lived with, and the suicide rate, and the mental health
'em.
breakdowns, and we've seen what's happened since we've endorsed and legalized
no more myths
and
for
for
me.
gay men who now live in our society freely, and women, but it's easy to see with gay men because of criminalization and decriminalization. And So I mean, you know, your and my gay friends now will be, you know, running the PTA and, you know, living their lives on the outside and being their full selves and not living in depression and marginalization. This doesn't mean there's no homophobia, but it means the legalization and the endorsing of language has functionally changed who is capable of being productive, happy, whole members of society. And that's great for society as well as the individuals. So I'm looking at trans rights from both of those avenues and saying, what would happen if we realized that our model is not the only model? There is absolute precedence for human beings to be fluid.
I don't want to use these yet.
And
We'll start
for
using
them
tokens
to
when
be
we get
gender
actually close.
non-conforming. Just as much with orphans, Indigenous societies don't have, many Indigenous societies, they don't have the concept of orphan because the whole community will look after you and your aunt is also your mum type feel. And so it's a Western framework that delivers us orphans.
Yeah,
Do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean, but I don't agree. And the
I need
reason is
500
that
okay,
I'm
we're
not a
back to the
Western
cruiser.
person, by the way. Francis has
Fuck, I will play them
experiences
some more.
outside, and the idea that male and female are Western categories is just not. It's not true. In fact, I would.
Not
I'd put
just Western, but you
Yes.
see what I mean about
Well,
Indigenous
I need the experience for
societies.
this.
Yes, indigenous societies are like 0.0001%.
That'll give me the
of
Gambia, though, so it's
population
kind of
human
important.
beings on the planet. And the more east you go, the more the traditional.
That's the one
societies
quest
are,
I
and
still
the
need for
more
the Gambia.
male and female rigidity is
And it needs a-
enforced,
it's- it
actually.
needs to be on a
West is actually
cruiser.
pretty loose about them. The other thing that I don't understand about the argument is that it sounds to me like we're confusing gender non-conformity. In other words, a feminine man or a man who doesn't comply with the stereotypes of what we expect of a man, and a woman who doesn't comply and wears trousers or whatever, with claiming that you are the opposite sex. These are completely separate things. And the third thing is, and we've obviously had a lot of people on the show to talk about this, the gay rights model doesn't work very well as a comparison, not least because it's actually gay people that are at the forefront of opposing trans ideology and say, if I had been alive today as a young person, people would have told me I'm trans, even though I'm gay, or even though I'm autistic, or even though I'm this. And the fourth difference is that decriminalizing homosexuality was about preventing the ill treatment of gay people. When we're talking about transgenderism, the way that we've been talking about in our societies until recently, until West Streeting banned puberty blockers, is that because we have this ideology of compassion for people who may feel differently, we then would prescribe very significant medical treatments to young children who are not actually capable of making rational decisions about their long-term future. So for all of those reasons, I don't really see the argument that you're making. Let me introduce you to the people I work with to protect my best friend. One of them, he went counter clearly to doubt that pure until the goal.
So I think you can see the argument that
He wants to sell you
You
gold.
don't agree with the argument I'm making, but you've made 4 points there, so I need to take them one by one. What was
Sure.
the first one?
So the first, well, I don't remember the order in which I made them. I think the first
Anyone.
one was that in the idea that the male-female binary is a Western concept is not actually accurate.
Okay, so stop there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about indigenous people who lived all over the world
Yeah, yeah.
until we had. So when you say
Why are you shooting me, bro? There's like 3 ships in front of you.
Western
You
is
fuck.
colonization did
I know why,
bring
'cause I'm starting
a
with
lot
half
more
health,
fixed
but
ideas. So
like-
Hold on.
This fucking guy is an asshole.
Let that pass. Are you saying people in the Duchy of Muscovy
Oh.
2,000 years ago?
No. But I only just started the sentence. So I said,
Okay.
for example, colonization did export a lot of
Turn
very
to starboard.
Christian, quote unquote Christian, not necessarily Christian ideals around the world. So my example was, I think it's hard to talk about the whole globe, but my example was in Australia. You may know Australian Aboriginals have the idea of brother boys and sister girls. And
No.
they are genderqueer people. But of course, when, let's be honest, white Christian colonizers came and turned up. They said
Bad
that's not a
torpedo.
thing and you're not allowed to do that. And said that that's wrong, and there was a lot of shaming that's gone on. Now that obviously has infiltrated into the Aboriginal population now. There's still brother boys and there's still sister girls, but there's a lot of homophobia in the Aboriginal population that didn't exist before it was imposed.
But you're not addressing my argument. My argument is not that there aren't indigenous communities where these practices exist. My argument is that that is by far and away a tiny minority of the global population of humans.
I don't really understand how that matters, though, because
matters-
it's still the archaic way people behave.
If 99% of people do something and 0.1% of people do something different,
Do you know why indigenous populations are so small, though? Isn't it?
the point I'm trying to make
Do
to
you
you
know
is,
why they're so
hold
small?
on, hold on a second.
But do you know why they're so small?
You're deflecting from the argument. That
I was
I'm
about to
making.
say.
Not
Yes,
really.
you are. The argument that I made
Oh
to
my
you is
God.
when you said
I'm gonna show her face. I have to see the smug look on this bitch. You're gonna have to see it too, okay? What's up, Nat? How you doing? Sorry, I don't have a YouTube scene yet because my fucking computer died.
this is a Western concept. The
Not
argument.
really why they're so
Hold
small.
on, hold on a second.
But do you know why they're so small?
You're deflecting from the argument that I'm making.
Not
Yes, you
really.
are. The argument that I'm
I hate when someone takes that pose, dude. It's like you're looking at like a 5-year-old that just said something dumb. I swear I despise these people. Like, can you not have a normal conversation without this horrendous body language that makes me like that tries to make me feel like I'm supposed to be like some toddler? I see right through that shit, dude. It's driving me nuts. Okay, essentially, this is what we saw. Again, I'll go over the clip again because you weren't here. This is a 1-minute clip out of this 2.5 hour podcast, and this 1-minute clip completely sold me on watching the rest.
I'm saying we were technologically more advanced. Would you
So you're
disagree
saying we're
with that?
superior to Australian Aboriginals?
That's quite the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm not saying we were superior. I'm saying we were technologically more advanced.
So how is that the opposite?
Superior implies a moral quality. I'm not making any moral implication. You seem to be, but
Okay.
what I'm saying is
I
we
think
would.
most people would hear it that way.
No, I
Again,
don't-
you're a very intelligent man. How would most people hear that?
most people would hear what I'm saying for what I'm saying, which is
Don't think that.
you seem to get quite heated about this, which is completely unnecessary. You think it's necessary?
I'm a bit
And
stunned
go.
by what you're implying.
No, you're acting in a kind of passive-aggressive way, which indicates that you're not
I
happy about.
genuinely am being 100% authentic. My visceral reaction
Yeah.
to a white man sitting and saying to me, and why were we able to commit genocide on them? And then just pausing
Yes.
is very visceral
Well,
to me.
let's go back. First of all, it's interesting that you brought up my.
So
skin color
visceral.
because I thought that was the exact opposite of what the point you're trying to make in the book.
I have equipment for light repairs of ships. Stay close.
I saw this 1-minute clip and I was like, look at her face too. I'm like, I'm sold. We're gonna watch this. Like, we're gonna watch this.
Made to you is
'Cause
when
it's
you
gonna be
said
gold.
this is a
You already
Western
know.
Concept, I gave you examples.
Yeah.
For example, the Duchy of Muscovy or
Okay,
Russia
sure.
600 years
so,
ago.
So when I say Western,
Yeah.
I'm speaking because that's where I'm having the arguments is in the West.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there are Eastern places too, but I'm talking about
Okay.
Western frameworks. It's unlikely I'm going to come in here in Kent and start talking about, Far Eastern
I think
concepts.
I think you're
No, dude,
mishearing
you
what
just
I'm
have to
saying.
push back. It's
You
fantastic
made the
content,
claim
man. Because you know she's gonna lose her
outside of
mind.
the West,
Yeah.
in indigenous societies, these things are very normal. And the point I'm making to you is, while it may be the case in certain tiny communities that
No,
exist,
but-
hold on a second, that exist in certain tiny communities, bless you, Francis, outside of the West. There are also lots of other civilizations outside of the West where the gender binary that you were talking about as a Western concept is actually much more firmly enforced than it is in the West. In the Islamic civilization, in the Chinese civilization, in Russia, all over the world, in South, pretty much everywhere.
I had to change
So
my mods,
the
dude.
bringing up
Oh
tiny
yeah,
indigenous communities
Marvin,
does not prove the case.
Okay, but indigenous communities tend to be.
You
I
still here,
think,
Marvin?
It's more archaic. It's more what it was before we brought in all these religious frameworks. You're still
Link
talking about
the mods
The Muslim world. You're still talking about an
for
Abrahamic
for
framework.
night.
What about the Chinese?
I don't know. I haven't looked into the Chinese
They
enough
represent
about.
1.4 billion.
Sure, but if you probably looked into indigenous Chinese culture, you know, that archaic before we had a lot of, China now is not a great example. I think you'll understand why, because of a fairly extreme regime with not great human
Sure.
rights. So I think what I'm trying to look at, if you really look at what I'm saying, is that there are other frameworks that are perhaps more human, that are more,
What
that are
makes them
less.
more
Okay.
Well, they're less.
Be
driven by
prepared.
control, by
That
controlling
list
regimes
is
and
gonna be
controlling religion.
fucking
I
huge.
don't
There's
think
a
makes them more human. If
Sorry, because I do want to. That list is gonna be fucking huge. There's gonna be a ton of fucking mods. All right, so if you have questions about what anything does, just put them in the chat. You will have questions. Also, click on show description at the bottom. A little window pops up. Keep that little window open, and every time you change, you click on something. There's like a little, sometimes a little preview, and all the way at the bottom, it'll tell you exactly what the mod does. Which is not always helpful either, but you know, because many options.
99% of humans do A, it seems to me that A is more human.
You must know you're a bright boy.
I am.
You
Thank
must know. You must know. You're a public intellectual. You must know that 99%, given the recent population boom, of people under draconian governments, under draconian binary religious ideals, doesn't dwarf an indigenous culture that has been there. Australian Aboriginals are the oldest indigenous culture in the world. Do you know why there's so few of them? We killed them.
Yes.
We committed a genocide.
Why were we able to do that? Why were we able to do that?
What are you implying?
I'm just asking you the question.
Are you implying because we're better?
No.
What are you
We
implying?
were technologically far more advanced. That's what I'm implying.
Look at the blinking, bro. Her little brain can't understand what he just said. She's taking this in the worst possible way you can take this, and you already know. Why do they always look like this as well? It's, oh my god, like the aura that she's oozing off is like, what the fuck, lady?
This is Raptor.
Everyone knows exactly the type of person you are, alright? Like, even the people that tolerate you, because I don't think you have actual friends. The people that tolerate you will also be like, oh fuck, here she is again. Okay, don't talk about A, B, C, or D, or the night's ruined. Ah!
What's not clear about that?
So you're saying
I'm saying we were technologically more advanced. Would you
so you're
disagree
saying we're
with that?
superior to Australian Aboriginals?
That's
Like, again, look at how she takes that. We were more technologically advanced. Oh, so we're superior. Well, in technology, yes. Like, what the fuck do you mean we were superior? Technologically, yes. That's what technologically advanced means. Yeah. When you have guns and they have bows and arrows, they're gonna lose. That doesn't mean we're better than them. It just means we got better guns. Like, what the fuck is this? What is this, like, internalization of bad shit? These people, and this is a massive problem, like, in regular discourse, right? It's people are fighting what they want to hear, or what they... Yeah, they make up a straw man in their head and then start fighting against the straw man. Because she doesn't have a good answer to the actual question. Because it's... Yes! We did fuck them up and almost genocide them because we were superior in technology. We also nearly genocided them. So clearly we were not morally superior. It's not that hard to understand. These two things are totally unrelated from each other. You could be very technologically superior and still be a giant genocidal fuckhead. It's not that hard to understand, lady.
quite the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm not saying we were superior, I'm saying we were technologically more advanced.
So how is that the opposite?
Superior implies a moral quality. I'm not making any moral implication. You seem to be, but
Okay.
what I'm saying is...
I think most people would hear it that way.
No.
no,
Again,
No.
you're a very intelligent man. How would most people hear that?
most people would hear what I'm saying for what I'm saying.
Most people would understand there's the technological is a modifier to the word behind it. Right? So technologically superior doesn't mean whatever. We've been over this. Everyone in this chat knows this, or you wouldn't be here, right?
Whether it's by they came in executed them, or it was disease brought in by conquistadors.
Yeah. So
I don't interpret it that way. If I'm being honest.
so why? What's the point of this question
The
then?
point of this question is
Is because we came in with our better gendered binaries,
No, sorry.
and therefore we were
Deborah,
able to
this
kill
is going to
them.
work a lot better if you just hear the point I'm making instead of
I
get.
really cannot understand what it could.
See, and then she's so fucking smug about it too. Like, I'm not sure if she's like actually stupid or playing stupid, but the fact that she's being stupid and then acting morally superior and smug about being stupid is what really pisses me off about these types of people, dude. Like, you're saying the dumbest shit. You just like
Time's up.
strawman him up the fucking wazoo, and now you're acting morally superior about the strawman that you cooked up in your drug-addled brain. And I'm the one on fucking benzos. Sorry.
Possibly be other than we are better.
Well, let me explain it to you. What
Technologically.
What's it got to do with the gender binary?
Your argument. We're just talking about the argument, and you seem to get quite heated about this, which is completely unnecessary. You think it's necessary?
I'm a bit stunned by what you're implying.
No, you're acting in a kind of passive-aggressive way, which indicates that you're not
I
happy about.
genuinely am being 100% authentic. My visceral reaction
Yeah.
to a white man sitting and saying to me, "And why were we able to commit?"
Oh, and of course, she's gotta be like, but you're a white man, and you're a white woman. What the fuck is your point, bitch? Is your point that I should now say, why aren't you in the kitchen making me a sandwich? Is that what you're trying to get at? Like, this is immaterial to the conversation at hand. The guy's skin color doesn't matter jack shit to what he's saying. The guy's gender doesn't matter jack shit to what he's saying. You're bringing this up because he's making you look like a complete buffoon, and you fucking know it. Yes, let's be honest. You're not as dumb as you're portraying yourself to be.
genocide on them and then just pausing
Yes.
is very visceral
Well,
to me.
let's go back. First of all, it's interesting that you brought up my skin color because I thought that was the exact opposite of what the point you're trying to make in the book. But anyway,
I
let's go
may
back
have
to the
just
argument.
restarted
have
the
read
stream
my
by
book, so you
accident. I
wouldn't
pressed the
know.
wrong button on my
You
keyboard and it
said
went into
the
standby
point of
mode.
your book is it's all about you can't say this.
We still
this,
good?
this,
I'm
this,
so
and that.
sorry.
But anyway, doesn't matter.
You're very reductive. I thought you were a lot more intellectual than this.
I think I fucked my
I
game.
think this is very revealing. But let's come
Yeah,
back
it's
to
not
the
like
argument.
shit. I
The
would have to
argument
restart the
you're
game.
making was that the Aboriginal society and other
The game. No more
indigenous
sound in the game.
societies,
Fuck.
as we call them, were
Yeah.
more
Oh.
human because whatever reason.
Okay, we're back.
And they were therefore models for emulation.
Okay.
I don't think I said more human.
We're
I
good.
said there
You did
is
say more
something
human.
fundamentally
You said more
human
human. Yeah.
about. There's something fundamentally.
I gotta remember what type of
of-
keyboard I have, man. My keyboard
of
lights
how humans are
aren't actually
before
on
there's
when
a
I'm playing
whole
this
heap of
game. I
religious
just noticed.
imposition and a whole heap of totalitarian imposition.
think
That's
it's a
what I'm
das.
saying. I think we can learn a lot from indigenous societies. I don't think you can say there's fewer of them, therefore they don't count.
That's
when
not
they
what
were,
I said.
when they were,
I didn't say they don't count. What I said is if 99% of a population, if 99% of pandas eat bamboo shoots, it's fair to say that eating bamboo shoots is the standard panda behavior. It's the more panda behavior than the 1% or the 0.1%
Disco,
that
hang on,
eat
let me
dog
do a bit.
turds for a living.
Okay, so what about if pandas had been in an artificial environment for a long time and couldn't get bamboo shoots and were eating something else, but I could show you that pandas originally, and some pandas for thousands of years, the oldest pandas in the
Alright. You don't have to do the live thing again because I dragged you up.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I think that's good.
Okay. Let me pull open mine. And I will restart the game because I want to... Where did my keyboard light go? Would like them back.
What's the keyboard light?
My backlight?
Oh, like the RGB stuff?
Yeah. Wait, my dockyard's complete! Oh my god, I got the Gambia. Boom! New tier 7 premium.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I would have had my mic going, but the cord is too short.
A
So I
Fiji
gotta,
class light cruiser. Okay, let me my.
gotta switch cords later. Go back to the store and switch cords.
Okay, modpack installer. Let's see. Okay, so what exactly do you all want? Because I turned a lot of like flashy stuff on because I think it's, you know, pretty. But okay, take the second team panels for starters.
I just want a UI that tells me exactly everything that's going on. Nothing flashy, just all info.
All the way at the top, team panels, number 2.
Roll switch?
Yeah, Roslish. Roslish.
See, it does it like how am I supposed to know what this is?
You have, where's the thing? Yeah, there it is. That
Oh,
open.
it's working now. It wasn't working a second ago.
You have to put it next.
There.
Okay, scroll
So it's just
down.
how it hang on, is this how it just looks?
That's how it looks in game, yeah.
Why is it showing like 4 different pictures?
Because there's
I mean,
4
4
different
different, like,
options.
No, I mean I guess it's just that different then?
Yeah. I'm using the Roslich one.
Alright, give me a second. If I knew what this is supposed to be showing, I can make my decision.
It's
What
it's the teams on the side of your bar, right? Left your team, their team, and then you can see they're tier 6, 7, 8, whatever, what kind of ship they are, etc.
Okay, well the first one, like what's the 13.4 kilometers and the 12 kilometers for beta tier 8 cruiser?
Firing range.
Okay, so is this what shows up in game when you hit tab?
Well, only a small version shows up, but you have like you have like an option button that you can add on whatever you want. But I like mine like not too big, so I take the small one. I take the Roslich one, which is
Or does it show the info like that? Yes, see it.
you turn it on. Yeah, for me it only I still only have like the names and the ships, etc. That's not, you can look at that later. Scroll down to markers.
Okay.
To the ship movement indicator, make sure that's turned on, and I would recommend V3 for it as well. So when you got a ship targeted in V3, if the thing is gray, he's standing still. If it's red, he's moving backwards. If it's green, he's moving forwards. Right below that is a speed indicator. Use that too. If ship is selected, the selection circle turns into a speed indicator as well, so you can see exactly how fast it's going to. See, like the picture that it's showing is the guy is going at three-quarter speed. If it would be full,
Okay, yeah.
that's full speed ahead, and half. You know how it goes, right? And then leave everything else there selected automatically. Minimap by Titaro, leave that selected.
What is the adjustable submarine highlight?
You can read it right below you.
Lock on, lock. Well, if it shows that I'm locked on, then I guess I'll just leave that checked then. I'll check it. Okay, next thing. Minimap.
Leave that normal. That's good.
But what is the difference though?
Just looks better. The minimap by Titaro just looks, and you can make it way bigger. You know how my minimap is like basically half of my screen? That's why.
Oh yeah. Advanced attention marker? What does that mean?
I don't use those. I don't use any of that.
Okay, 2D radio position finding. What? Nope.
Well, let me just give you the ones that you need to turn on, right? So Battle Expert
Okay.
V1, V2 is a little annoying.
Wait, what? Oh, you don't have any in battle chat? Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Battle Expert D1. Okay, wait, check it. What? What? It froze.
Did it?
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Unfroze. Battle Expert D1. Okay. Checked.
I also have 3D radar, intuition, underwater heat viewer, AFK monitor, post battle progress numbers. I turned aircraft carrier helpers on, but you don't even have an aircraft carrier, so.
Leave it on. Which one? Assistant 2 or Squadron Consumables?
Assistant 2 and all of the ones below it. The meters, you can do advanced damage. Okay, that's on already. Timers, that should be normal. The detection icons. Scroll down, that's the one I want you to change. The
Wait,
one
what'd you say about meters? Just leave it as is.
Yeah, you just leave those.
Okay, timers.
You don't need any of that.
Wait, no timers?
No, just leave it. Scroll past. Detection icon, turn that on. Well, leave
What
the
about the
reload
reload
timer
timer?
on. Yeah, but leave it on. Don't touch it. That's what I'm saying. Don't touch those options. Move on down.
Uncheck it?
No. It was
Okay.
checked. It was checked.
Was it?
Yes,
I
it
thought
was.
unchecked.
No, it
Okay,
wasn't.
so you will keep it checked, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Detection
I didn't
core
need to
icons.
uncheck it.
Click one, or like, you want one of those. Personally, the one I personally like is Vito 74M, which is like the bottom one, because that's the cleanest one, and it's nice and big, and it's obvious what's happening. You can also do the waifus if you want to, because I know you are. But
Oh, I found it. My Little Pony.
just use the Vito ones, so I actually know what's happening.
What does this do? Detection icons? Okay.
Yeah, see? So that way you can
Alert
see
icon.
what's actually spotting you. Because if it's the green triangle with the aircraft, an aircraft spotting you. If it's the green triangle with a ship, then you know, oh, there's a destroyer nearby, you know? So those are the good ones. Turn the torpedo warning on.
Okay.
You can pick one. I took one. For me, it's V1.
Why do they have a little pony? Oh my, never mind. Sorry.
Bro, there's little.
Go-
You can have My Little Pony voice lines and everything, dude. It's like a bunch of weebs play this game
Why?
too, man. I don't know.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. So, received damage indicators.
Don't need target lock markers.
No. I mean, if you want
You
to,
said
but
warning
I don't really.
Wait, torpedo warning.
like a-
Version 1?
I took one, yeah, but you could take whatever you want there. I'm just saying I took one because I like that the best. It's one. It's for me.
Yeah,
It's like the thing was between 1 and 5, but it seems like I don't know. 1 looks more like a torpedo, and 5 looks more like a video game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I make myself. I've got like tracers all over the place and shit, so it looks like a video game anyway. But those look cool, and that look just weird. Yeah, RDI.
Receive the damage indicators.
Yeah, it's from
What
where
next?
you're taking damage. You see that little red arrow? It's like, you know, you ever play Half-Life and you get shot from behind the screen and there's like a little arrow showing you where the shot came from? That's basically the same.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
Yeah.
next.
Scroll all the way down to consumables and armament icon.
Okay.
Turn that on, and then I have the last two turned on, and the first one.
There, okay.
Got that? Yep. Scroll all the way down to crosshairs. Dynamic crosshair, turn that on, and I'm using Nomogram Classic and Modern. Get rid of the wrist.
Oh, okay. It's all in one line. Okay.
Yeah, just leave the top one. No, the top one. Leave that one.
Ah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
one
sorry, I
leave.
was trying to mess up.
Untick
Okay.
crosshair smart horizon. And then scroll down to boom boom, keep scrolling to camera.
Mm,
Oh, actually, hang on. I also do show max speed of target at crosshair. That on as well. Yeah.
Right.
And I like port zoom out, but that's just for you can zoom out way far in the port. I don't know if you want that, but I turned that on.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Then scroll down to port interface.
Port,
See.
okay.
Those are good. Scrolling. Yep, keep. Okay. Here, turn on Twitch and Dorm and the Moonlight pack. Pick a color of moon. Also changes like
Which?
a little stuff. Yeah, you get 2 extras. You get see the thing how what it looks. See the thing that's like you get new ports if you want to use them. You don't need them, so if you don't want to use them, then leave them off. I just turn. Why not?
All right, what's the Moonlight pack though? I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, it changes the way the moon looks.
Oh, it's just like a visual thing. Oh, that first one.
Yeah, I got the first one too. It looks badass, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I
the
thought so
super
too,
moon's
dude. Like the
cool,
full
but
moon
it's
blue is like,
too
yep,
big. Yeah,
sold. You
let's
know,
check.
I have nothing
Yeah.
in flags. I'm a customization. I picked different shell models. So shell model with different tracer for each shell. Pick one of those. That way, not one of the first two.
Say what?
So shell model with different tracer for each shell type. That way you can clearly see what you're shooting
Oh.
and what people are shooting at you. Because it
So
makes a
at
difference if they're shooting HE or AP or SAP, and with that you can see that. Then you pick one of the 4 below it. Personally, I have the last
Oh.
one. Also, Vito 74.
Yellow form dark red smoke. What is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that
Wait,
one is.
what is SAP?
It's a mostly Italian thing. It's like a mix. Think of it's like a Sabo round. You know what a Sabo round is? Like a mix between HE and AP. It's kind of the same, but for ships.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's pretty.
it still blows up, but it has better penetration than an HE shell.
Okay, hyper shell. Got it.
I do traced contrails as well because I like my game looking a little flashy. For me, it's classic. I took. Yeah, it's the main gun
It's not
lines
showing
that
the-
gives you the eye. Yeah, it looks like that basically. If you choose
It's only-
classic, it looks like the picture. If you choose green, obviously the thing's gonna be green, yellow, or. I took classic because I think I like blue, basically. And then the anti-aircraft gun.
But hang on. So okay, the gun lines weren't they white before? Like, are they like white stock?
Yeah, they're white stuff.
Okay, so dash the line. So okay, red. I don't want red on my. Okay, sure. Dashes, rainbow, confetti.
Yeah, those are
Okay, whatever.
those are
Yeah,
memes. Those are meme backgrounds, not backgrounds. I also personally really like the anti-aircraft guns. I use anime blue because it makes it look like fucking Star Wars or Star Trek when the anti-air is going off. Plus, I can actually tell when the anti-air is going off now because sometimes my ship, when I didn't have the mod, my ship was firing AA and I had no fucking clue that it was firing AA, dude. Now I can actually see it. And if there's like a lot of AA fire, it looks fucking great. Like, who says war doesn't have to be pretty, you know? So pick a color there, the one you like, and good.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to make sure the torpedo trails are spot on. 2, 3. There's not much difference between these.
I
What?
really,
what are
well,
the
I
colors?
don't have. I don't turn the torpedo trails on because it's like it doesn't really matter. Like you'd see them fine enough.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see them even more though. but it's basically the same thing.
Well, yeah, it's just torpedo trails. They're not gonna make it too obvious. Okay, and then scroll past the ship skins and appearance. You don't want any of that. Not a single one. Just skip past all of that. Go to the next line, which is map environment. That's a big one.
Everest transparency. What?
It's the bottom icon the bottom picture. Scroll past all of that.
Okay. The very bottom.
No, right there, map environment. So leave it on minimal waves. You won't have waves because the waves are all they're just like visual anyway. So
wait, so we skip that entire section above
entire section, yeah, because those are like custom skins for ships.
Okay, yeah, screw that.
Yeah,
okay,
you can do that later. If you want custom skins for a ship, you have maybe look at it then. But right now, it doesn't really matter because you ain't got no ships. Minimal waves V2, fog remover, anti-glare, the Faroe Island map with reduced dazzle, and on maps on. Oh, you got already. Yeah, okay. Next, right there, crew voices. Okay. Those are the things that you hear. You know when my giggity and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I got those things, right? So pick what you want. Now don't put all of them because most of them are Russian or Japanese. So make sure you pick the English ones or you won't have any clue what's being said.
I don't recognize half these games. Mermaid's Wrath, female crew. What is that?
You can tick all of you can tick all the ones you want. By the way, you can just change it in game. It's an in-game change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pick all the English ones and then just pick whatever you want in game. Go through them and see what you like. I personally, the Family Guy and the Duke Nukem ones are hilarious. Okay, they really are.
I guess I'll do Duke Nukem. I don't like Family Guy. Screw that. It's too dumb.
Yeah, I love Family Guy.
It's too ridiculous.
That's why I love it, dude. It's so stupid. I wish they had Rick and Morty, bro. How the fuck do you not have Rick and Morty?
Oh, that would be perfect.
Right?
Yeah, oh my god. That would actually be great. Rick and Morty.
Like I'm amazed that they've got Family Guy and Duke Nukem, but not Rick and Morty. Bruh. Maybe because they curse a little too much. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
But they have Duke Nukem.
Okay. Yeah, actually, he curses a hell of a lot too. To be honest, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, I didn't think that thought through. Okay, and then tweaks. You've got all of that. Yes. Scroll down. No, that's it. You're good. Click next. Next again. Oh, by the way, when you ever update your mod and stuff, leave that top one ticked always.
Okay, remove all previous.
Yeah, it's a clean install. Always do a clean install because otherwise shit's gonna break. Guaranteed.
And I don't have. What about what about the DL?
No, you can leave that on.
Okay.
That's why it says in background. That's why behind it said in brackets. Only does this once if it's fucked up.
Oh, I didn't read that far. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, just install. Yeah, and then it takes a little bit because it's downloading the mod packs and stuff.
All right. The first one, Duke Nukem. Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know why my keyboard stopped
Mermaid's
working.
Wrath female. Coincidentally, I have a Mermaid Insignia, so I guess the Mermaid's Wrath female voice line would be pretty cool. I just threw it on because I don't know, mermaids and sirens.
Here's a dumb question: how do I know what keyboard I have? I'm pretty sure it's a DAS, but which one?
I don't know. Shouldn't it tell on the keyboard itself?
What the fuck, Dodo? How'd you reinstall Street Fighter 5 when you have 6 from Shadows? You disappoint me every day, man. Swear to God. It literally just says DAS keyboard. Thanks. I already knew. Maybe it's because my NVIDIA. It's kind of annoying. I want my color. Oh, I got him. I was pressing the wrong button. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're good.
Okay,
Back to World Warships.
finishing. How long is this gonna take?
It's done.
I guess I could jump in next game or something.
Oh, it's done. Just finish.
Oh. What? That was convenient. Why do I have 2 icons? Oh.
One's the logs, and the other one is like when you want to change something.
That's it.
Isn't it nice to have a new computer and like almost have no fucking stuff on your desktop?
Yeah,
You should have seen my previous desktop, dude. I lost all of my fighting tick, bro. Every single one of them. Because they were all TXT files for 3 different fighting games. I literally had like 20 notepad files on my desktop. All gone. All of my tick is gone, dude. And I spent hours making them too. I'm still fucking fuming about that, man. Like, okay, I lost like a bunch of government shit too, right? But those notepad files, man. Fuck. You know?
Why you gotta back stuff up?
I know, dude. It's just like it's an SSD, bro. I literally have 2 HDDs in there that are 15 years old minimum, and they're still fucking fine. But my brand new SSD, that's the one that dies. It's ridiculous.
Gotta get that raid system going.
Anyway, I'm gonna jump off Discord because I really want to get through this thing. Call it.
Okay.
Debate, quote unquote, because it really did seem funny, and she's already like massively triggered, so this is gonna be super funny. So I'll just mute myself, but we can still play.
Okay, gotcha. See you back on stream.
Yeah.
Ooh, black hole.
The world live in Australia, and those pandas still eat bamboo shoots
gonna
and always have
be
done.
nasty.
That would be something
I'm
interesting
so
for you as an
sorry.
intellectual, wouldn't it?
So
that coming.
the fact that pandas at 1.8, but something other than bamboo shoots. I mean, your idea that everything since the Aboriginals is an artificial environment. Well, those societies were artificial in their own way too.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything as rigid as what you're imposing onto me. I'm talking through things and around things. Right at the top, remember when I said,
Yeah.
this is some ideas in a book
So
of
I'm
ideas.
exploring your ideas with you.
In a way, though, what you're doing is you're going, you've said this thing, and this thing isn't everything. And so I would love it if we could genuinely talk.
I'm trying.
And you could.
I'm trying to address your argument, right? I gave you 4 arguments in response to the things that you said.
And we've only really got to 1.
Well, yes, because you got upset at me saying something about the Aboriginals.
But what were you meaning by that? What were you meaning by why were we able to?
I already told you what I meant by
commit
that.
genocide.
We were technologically far more
and
sophisticated.
what's that got to do with it?
Well, if a civilization is able to produce things like penicillin and the ability for its children not to die in childbirth, I think that indicates that that civilization has something positive about it. The fact that the Western civilization has created the incredible material benefits and also other benefits of every kind that we now enjoy says something about the utility of that civilization and that worldview, which is that it is very good for human beings, which is one of the reasons that millions of people travel, many of them risking their lives, from other parts of the world to our societies today.
Okay, so Aboriginals didn't need penicillin because they didn't have any of the diseases. And they were living an incredibly
What do you mean the
brilliant
next
nomadic
shipyard?
life,
Isn't that still like
so
2
that
months, this one?
What they would do is it would use a certain area, then they would move on, and then they would come back. So they didn't have any problems with holes in ozone layers.
Oh, 17 days. Rip.
Well,
Well, at least I got to the Gambia.
Across America, across Australia right now, they didn't have that. So we brought in more problems than we did solutions, right?
You can only do
Well,
18
I
though.
don't
You
know.
need
I
the
don't
balloons
know
for the
that that's
last 2.
true. It depends which indigenous community you're talking about. If you look at Native Americans, for example, they were just as brutal as Westerners in many ways. They had slavery. They murdered each other on a regular basis. They went to war. All of these things existed, and they had, of course, their own
It's a
diseases.
completely different discussion.
No, it's not a completely different discussion.
We brought the diseases that required
Of
the
course.
penicillin.
Well, I
And
didn't,
penicillin
but
was
yes.
certainly not invented when we committed genocide on Australian Aboriginals.
I don't understand your point. My point is we were technologically far more sophisticated. So this celebration of indigenous cultures as these possessors of all things of value from which we should now take learnings and apply them to our society.
Again, bringing the
That's
myths,
why
I
we need to
forgot
give
it's
12-year-olds
tier
puberty
8.
blockers is not a very strong argument in
That's
my
not
opinion.
anything like what I said, though, is it?
Well, that was the argument that I brought up.
I
right?
really thought you were going to be open to me.
I'm
and you
extremely
are-
open
I
to
don't
you, but
think
you have
are.
to make a rational argument that persuades me.
Okay, so I made lots of really interesting new arguments you'd never heard
I
before.
have heard lots of those arguments.
You
before.
haven't. You haven't heard. You haven't heard
how
about
would you
the
know
doc-
which arguments I've heard?
because I live in this world, and the adoption argument is I'm the first one making it. I am.
I don't know. That argument is not one I've ever heard, and it was interesting, but that wasn't the argument that I responded to. I remember I responded to your argument about native indigenous people having some kind of great wisdom that we should learn from. That was the argument we were talking
Well,
about.
but they do.
Hold on a second. You believe that? I don't.
do.
That's fine. I don't.
But look at if you go to Peru,
Yeah.
it's the indigenous people who are looking after the Amazon and who are defending it from just huge swathes of it being destroyed.
Sure.
With all that they can.
Yeah, I should
Leave-
actually take back what I said in that I don't think we have nothing to learn from them. But I think the implication that because they're indigenous, we should learn for
Yeah,
everything.
but I am suggesting this is something we could learn. It is
Yeah.
not. I'm saying it's not the only framework. The only framework isn't women, men. It's not the only framework. So I'm demonstrating to you through my research
Yeah.
that there are other frameworks that you may be interested in examining in case there's something interesting
I'm aware.
there.
Yes, I'm
so
aware.
how is it that they woke up and felt like that, but nobody now in the 21st century is going to wake up and feel like that? It's impossible. It's impossible that we all fit into one of these boxes. And the same people who don't like trans people saying I'm a woman don't like the non-binary category, which is an attempt to say, hey, I don't feel like either of these categories. Go, no, you can't be that either. You have to be in the one box we put you in.
I've never said that at all.
Well, you may not have,
Right.
but
We're having a conversation with me,
but-
so let's just stick with that. The second argument I made was about
you're
About-
unbelievable. Like, what?
In what way?
You literally started by saying, why am I not woke? And I said, because these are the kinds of things that people who say I'm anti-woke say.
Come on, let's get going.
You might not say that, but you do know a lot of people who are anti-woke say non-binary isn't a category. They do.
yes, definitely.
So I am suggesting that it is not possible that indigenous cultures that have survived to this day, Aboriginals being the oldest in the whole of the history of the planet, have people within it who have a tradition of gender fluidity, but nobody feels gender fluid today, or nobody feels gender
I swear, Marvin,
non-conforming
I
today.
suck with this
Of
fucking
course some
crosshair,
people
dude.
feel gender
Oh my god.
non-conforming. What are they
Such
meant
a
to
like.
do?
And if you remember at the very beginning, I said that there is some confusion, I think, in our discussion here between people who don't.
I'm gonna have to
fit
get used
into
to
the
it, you know what I mean?
stereotype
Like,
of
it's
what
like
man
a
should be
rough
and the
transition.
stereotype of what a woman should be, and someone who claims to be the opposite sex. That's, I think, quite an important distinction.
I don't see it as the opposite sex. I don't think there's opposites. I think it is far more fluid than that. And I think
You don't think there's the opposite sex, so you don't think there's male and female?
I just think it is more fluid than that, and I trust people when they tell me that is not how they feel inside. And much like the idea of an orphan, which again did not exist in the indigenous cultures I've researched, that wasn't really a thing. It wasn't something you could identify as. You were taken care of by the community. It's our framework that requires I've got to feel like one of these two. And so some people have now said, can I be this third category? And then people go, no, you've got to be one of these two, and it has to be the one you say you are. And that makes people unhappy, the way it made gay men unhappy to not be able to say who they were. It's making them unhappy. And I don't understand why we need to scapegoat people who say that they're telling you.
I definitely don't think we should be scapegoating anyone. At the same time, because we treat men and women in society differently, the claim that you're a woman has consequences, not only for you personally, but also for the rest of society. It entitles you to certain protections that men don't enjoy. It entitles you to access to certain spaces that men don't have access to. And that's really, I think, the big debate when it comes to adults. When it comes to children, there is a question about whether children are able to make these decisions in a way that the decisions that they make, which then have lifelong implications, particularly when it comes to medical.
Which I talk about in my book, that very, 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 very few, tiny percentage of and it's not children, but of teens do ever seek medication, and even tinier percentage of those have gotten medication. If puberty blockers have been given incorrectly, have been pushed on anybody,
Which they have.
then that is malpractice, and that should be stopped. That is malpractice.
But it's a logical consequence of the claim that if somebody says that they feel a certain way, then they are that thing.
It's not what doctors who prescribe them have said to me. They said that they
Fuck.
only give puberty blockers if that young person is absolutely adamant and on the cusp of self-harm, and they just can't live any other way. If you, it is just
We've had
not
Hannah Barton
common.
here who did the BBC report, and she was told.
I
that
got
they
that
had
still from the grave.
Puberty blockers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yay, fire.
After 2 consultations.
Yeah, well, I talk about the Tavistock in my book.
But what I'm saying to you is it's a logical consequence.
But that is not a logical consequence. It's malpractice.
Okay.
Malpractice is 2 consultations and we give you... No, it's not a logical consequence. It's malpractice. And if we find that there's a hospital near here and there's been malpractice in, hip surgery, we don't close it down and say no more hip surgery for anyone. We say we need more safeguarding, we need more training, we need to make sure there's no malpractice. Far more people regret hip surgery than they do surgery to transition, actually.
All right, we're about half an hour in, and
Whoa.
Francis hasn't said
Whoa, no way. There's no fucking way. Yeah, well. I had 13 viewers, but then I started helping night outs.
the word. So how about you have
This
a go,
reminded
mate?
me of my childhood, so thank you guys. The issue that I have with wokeism is I think you're very accurate in the way you describe it as a cult. And by the way, like we've said before, we see the same things on the right, particularly when it comes to the right in America, where some very ugly things are starting to manifest. Things that we both feel deeply uncomfortable with. But let's just focus on wokeism for the moment. The thing that I have the thing that wokeism really makes me feel really uncomfortable is cancel culture, which seems to be part and parcel of that particular ideology. And as somebody who has seen communism and the ultimate form of cancel culture, I find it deeply sinister. And the fact that it's marketed as being kind or progressive, I think is actually gaslighting. It's not kind and it's not progressive. I'll use an example. Joe Lycett, the very famous
Hey, look,
UK
it's the
comedian,
$50
said
ship,
that
Marvin.
cancel culture has made the UK comedy industry a kinder and better place. It's done none of those things. To strip somebody of their livelihood and destroy their career and impact not only them, but their families, their children, I'd see nothing kind or better about that.
So I have a chapter about this in my book, a whole chapter on cancel culture. And the problem I have with cancel culture is the same problem I had with being a Jehovah's Witness. The wisdom is dispensed from on high. If you don't agree with it, you're told to listen, to apologize. If you won't apologize, you kind of get marked. If you continue not to apologize, and you're even though you're not really allowed to present your side of the story, and you can be completely shunned. And that's the same model as a high control group. And then we have to ask the question, what do we do if we know we have a predator in our midst? If I'm on certain comedian WhatsApp groups and women look out for each other and they say, look, this happened to me, it was an unpleasant experience. I don't want to say anything about it. He's quite a powerful comedian, but I just want you to know that if you are in a car with him, or you might want to get a lift with somebody else. That goes on all the time. We tell each other, don't want to say anything about it, can't prove it, but we give each other those heads ups. And because, say, Joe Lycett's talking about the comedy community has for many years before.
Sorry, is this lady a comedian? To Google.
Warship commanders, transport aircraft have arrived. Proceed to evacuation. Protect the aerodrome until
For the Me Too movement, it was just a free-for-all.
Numpad plus.
There was literally nothing you could say. Even if you made a sort of mild remark about, I remember doing it, about things being harder for women or there being no women invited onto this bill, even though some
you also have to hold control, click on the thingy and make
I was basically shunned
extended
once for
scale.
saying something like that about an improv thing, and people would not talk to me in the bar because that was the stranglehold. Anytime you get a
and you
kind
can
of
make it
absolute
even bigger.
power model, that power will be abused, and that power has been abused, and it was abused. So I think the Me Too movement was very important to address that. So what do we do when there's a predator in our midst and the law doesn't really want to do anything about it, or they say, well, there's no evidence for that, or there's no will?
Actually, now I can use the minimap even better to
prove
aim
it.
the.
What do we do? And so that's what that
lobs.
chapter is analysing. But ultimately, there's a whole section I've got on jurisprudence and how there's a lot of evidence that prisons are really, they're sort of an overhang from Victorian times when we warehoused people we didn't know what to do with. So you'd put children in the orphanage and you'd put poor people in the workhouse, and you'd put people who had mental health issues into a sanatorium and throw away the key. And prisons are sort of the only one left. And certainly there are some people who need to be taken away from society because otherwise they will really hurt people. But most people are better off with community intervention. Because otherwise what happens is you take someone out of the community who was causing trouble in the community or hurting people in that community, you put them in a place that is totally lacking in empathy. And so their problem was they were lacking in empathy. You put them in a place where they are brutalized, where they are, even if they're not physically brutalized, they're emotionally brutalized. Then you say, okay, you've done your time, and we now, having made you less empathetic, put you back into that community. We know that community intervention is better, and crime doesn't go up. So I talked to a really interesting guy called Jared Bartle, who's a jurisprudence expert in Australia. And he said during COVID, they let a lot of people out of prisons and gave them ankle bracelets and did community intervention stuff instead. And the crime rate didn't go up at all.
UK prison, I assume.
Most people are much better off in their own communities. And so what the problem with cancel culture is we
He's
go,
London
we don't want
based.
that comedian in our midst anymore. So we shun him and he goes over there. Where does he go? He doesn't leave Earth. So if he is a predator, he's now going over there to do predator things. He's not left, you've moved the problem on over there. But now he's getting more and more and more and more bitter, and he probably hangs out with the 2 or 3 other guys who are in the same position. They exacerbate each other. They get less empathy, not more. What they needed was more empathy to go, don't do that. That's really
This sucks, I died way too early, man. Fuck.
They get sidelined in the comedy community.
I'm
So
still
you
the only
make
one
the
that
problem
died.
worse,
I feel
you
bad.
just shifted over there. So what we need in the comedy community, I think, is community intervention. If someone's done something criminal, we need to act on that. But if someone hasn't done something criminal, they're just making life awful for the people around them, then we need community intervention.
Ask 10 people to define capitalism, and you'll probably get 10 different answers. It's a word that .edu/trigger.
But I think the problem is, and we've had many psychiatrists talking about this, when it comes to sex-based crimes, it is pathological. It's very likely that if you are a sex offender, you're a sexual predator, you're a rapist, it escalates and you will remain like that for the rest of your life. We had Dr. Steve Peters talk about this.
So if somebody is a rapist, I don't think that's the same as
I'm not saying it is,
they're
by the way.
difficult. There were lots of men in comedy before Me Too, and some of them still do, but who were kind of predatorial. I think that's that's what I said. If it's something criminal, we need to work on that. We need to actually get that sorted and get that solved. And that person does need to be removed, and whatever rehabilitative work can be done should be done. I think that our whole justice system is screwed in that way, and our whole idea of prison making anybody get better is absolutely screwed on that, I think. But that's a whole dismantling of a system. But there are all sorts of things on the spectrum there. Again, it's a spectrum. It's not you are or you aren't, you're in or you're out.
Oh, that circle is healed, by the way. Get in there.
And so I
Heal
think cancel culture, a lot of people who are abolitionists and want to, you know, don't like prisons, don't like the way the police operate, are really, really happy to have some quite brutal cancel culture moves made, and I think they are at odds, aren't they?
Yeah, to me, and this was my problem with Me Too, not at the beginning, but where it ended up, where I had a friend who was in the comedy community, who was in the comedy industry. He's no longer in the comedy industry, and I'm not using his name. But he was effectively cancelled because women said that they felt awkward around him, female comedians did, because he stood too close to them and talked to them. He had autism. That's what he did to everybody. That's what he did to me. And this entire campaign was then started. His reputation was destroyed. He nearly had a breakdown. He nearly lost his job because he's socially awkward.
Well, if that's the case, that's terrible. Like, I don't know the details of that case or what else women were saying. So I don't want to.
No,
I don't want to overly. You know, you
No.
can't say his name, and I don't know the details. But if that's the case, that's terrible. And so the thing is, I am a progressive person who's known to be a public feminist.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I couldn't do the kind of work I'm doing anymore in that space without saying what's going on with cancel culture. Because at the beginning of Me Too, it was really righting historical wrongs and drawing attention to something and shining a light.
Agreed.
But like anything, any tool in the world can be used as a weapon and will be used as a weapon. That's how human beings are. So someone can have a, you know, great tool to get the weeds out of the garden or plant tomatoes or whatever, but that can be used as a weapon. And Me Too is an incredible tool that has been used for great things. Otherwise, Harvey Weinstein would still be out destroying careers and sexually assaulting people. But like any tool, it can be used as a weapon. And if we don't want the baby to be thrown out with the bathwater, we are going to have to let the baby grow up.
I agree. And then also there was this, and it's still happening now. Let's take the case of Alfie Brown. Do you remember that case of Alfie Brown? So I'll explain to you what happened to
yeah, I
Alfie,
do.
and then we can discuss it. And I'm going to be factual. Alfie was doing a preview at a comedy club of his show. He did a number of jokes, basically jibes, very funny actually jokes about Corbyn, the Corbynista government, insinuating that he was anti-Semitic. It then went on to Twitter. There was a back and forth on Twitter. People then started to dig up old interviews of Alfie doing in podcasts. They also, an old routine was dug up, where the premise of the routine was that if you wanted to have a good slur, you needed a hard consonant. A good racial slur, you needed a hard consonant. That's why all the racial slurs had hard consonants in them. And he just went through all of them. And he said, and that is why all slurs have hard consonants. He didn't execute it particularly well. This was a routine that was over 8 years old. It was then dug up, and it was then used to prove that he was a racist, and then it was then used to cancel him. His shows got pulled, lost opportunities, blah, blah, blah. I have a real issue with that. And people claiming that they were
Rough.
offended, and that's the reason.
Operation's gonna be
As somebody who
crazy.
called many
Yeah.
of those
Maybe I
slurs,
shouldn't have started
as
buying
someone who, looks Jewish, I get more than my fair share of anti-Semitism online. And as someone with a Latin American background, I also get that as well.
Oh, let's try
online,
this one.
Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Social media is a cesspool, as we all know. And I have a real issue with that. I have a very, very real issue with that. That suddenly you can claim to be offended by something that happened years before, and then use it to destroy somebody's career just because you felt offended.
Well, I'm going to go on a large limb here and say I don't think Alfie's career is destroyed. Alfie's a working comic. He's doing all right.
No, he lost a lot of opportunities at the time. Gigs were cancelled.
Sure, I'm sure it was unpleasant, but I don't think it's in the realm of. It's not in the realm of a Louis C.K. who is also back and has won a Grammy. So I think that's the other thing we do need to contextualise.
That's an unfair comparison because Alfie did nothing wrong and Louis C.K. did do something wrong.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a spectrum. So like, let's talk about it as a spectrum. It's not a kind of black and white. I think if people are going to go back in time and dig stuff up and
well, we still want it.
with an agenda, it's because they know what they're doing, and that's a decision they're making, and that is a part of modern life. That it's unpleasant. In terms of,
I'd
then,
say it's more than unpleasant. Deborah.
For a
It's
victory?
more than unpleasant.
No.
It is reputation destruction. That
yeah,
does
no,
not...
I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to think it through.
Bro, I got
think-
2,000 and I
think
died
it's-
instantly.
As I say, Alfie's working and Alfie's very successful. I don't think it's.
Don't
I
look
think
at the
it's-
free XP. Look
it's
at the
not
actual
as,
XP. This is
it's
the one that
not like a
matters.
permanent cancellation. But I also think, so I have a book, I have a chapter in the book called Freedom of Speech in Comedy. And one thing that I say in that, because I think people always, sometimes the BBC will ring me up and say they can't, Baby It's Cold Outside is being banned on the radio. And we want you as a feminist to say that that's a good thing, basically, is what they're saying. And I'm like, I'm not going to. Like, what? Why do you think they want me to be Mary Whitehouse? And I'm like, I'm a Gen X comedian. I'm not in for banning stuff. It's just not who I am. But they misunderstand. They see feminist and they go, you'll want to ban Baby It's Cold Outside. I won't want to ban Baby It's Cold Outside. And when you look into it, it's not being banned. It's it was the Me Too era where they were like, let's curate something else this year. Let's just do Jingle Bell Rock instead. It's probably a little tone deaf at this particular time in history, is all that's going on. But I don't want to ban stuff. I don't want to dig stuff up on people. I also find it slightly disturbing when I see, this guy's going to be booked on SNL, but 10 years ago he did this tweet that was clearly an edgelord joke, but it also, I don't think that man is genuinely gets up every morning and is motivated by racism. So it's an area where I go, I feel like it feels like a really unpleasant part of modern life that people are online trying to be private detectives to try and destroy you over this because I really want to get you for that. And I don't like it. I don't endorse it. I also think comics,
It is quite behind as well.
some comics say stuff
Weird.
that they don't really understand.
Yeah, it's
or
quite behind.
care how
Which is having a
how
bad day,
their
apparently.
saying might land as every tool is a weapon, right? So a joke can be a tool, can also be used as a weapon. So I would say Jimmy Carr's joke. Did you see that big thing about Jimmy Carr? So in his big Netflix
Which
special,
one?
yeah,
There's been a few.
in his Netflix special, it's called His Dark Material, and it's
Yes.
specifically it's about being able to do dark material, about edgy stuff. That's what it is. And he really contextualized it. He goes, "This is the joke that's going to end my career," and I break down the whole joke in the book, but he goes. He's like in the Holocaust, and he looks to camera like, "Yeah, I'm going to go there." In the Holocaust, and he says people always talk about 6 million Jews being killed, but they rarely talk about I can't remember what it is, but the hundreds of thousands or millions of gypsies that were killed.
Sorry, I was.
And then there's a gap,
Yeah.
and then he goes, because no one ever wants to talk about the positives.
When people talk about the Holocaust, they talk about the tragedy and horror of 6 million Jewish lives being lost to the Nazi war machine. But they never mention the thousands of gypsies that were killed by the Nazis. No one ever wants to talk about that because no one ever wants to talk about the positives.
Right? And then he has to explain why that joke is very clever, very funny, why it's educational, and why it's so good. And of course, it caused a huge furore. And even the comedians that kind of stood up for Jimmy on a basic, Jimmy's my mate.
You said you were ready, so I clicked
No one
play.
really stood up for the joke, because the joke is not funny enough. It's not to be worth that level of nastiness. When Amnesty International have said that Romani people, travelling people who Jimmy calls gypsies, and some people own that term, some people don't, so I won't. Amnesty says Romani people are the most disenfranchised, the most overly criminalised population in this country. They have the least protections. They don't have famous people standing up for them and they don't have representation. Now, that joke, we know, will no doubt be used in the playground against a kid because Jimmy said it. The audience has laughed because it's edgy, and they've laughed in shock. They can't believe Jimmy said that. That's where the laugh's coming from, and that's where Jimmy wants the laugh to be coming from. Jimmy doesn't want to hurt Romney people. Jiminy doesn't care about that. It just doesn't. That's not what he's doing. He's doing a shock joke.
Bitch.
And that's his joy and that's his bliss and that's what he wants to do. But what I'm asking is, I don't want anything banned, but I want...
Fire at me again, motherfucker.
I want broadcasters to...
Watch out,
ask
though. There's about to come...
rating.
There we go. Yeah. Be
And
careful, because these guys drop a lot of
like I say
torps.
to the Me Too movement, if you're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, let it grow up. Because that will be used as a grenade, for sure, in the playground against, you know, Romney kids that are there. It's like, oh, everyone wants to talk about the positives. And then the teacher comes along, they go, I was just saying what Jimmy Carr said. And if multi-millionaire Jimmy Carr in his Armani suit, standing on stage at the Hammersmith Apollo with a multi-million-dollar Netflix special can say it, why can't this kid? So, and that kid may come from a community where he hears a lot of racism about Romney people, right? So,
Bro, it was a funny joke. Oh my god, look at her breaking down this joke as if it's like some... Whatever, we're not gonna get into this because I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm asking...
We're just
I'm
gonna
not
listen to
saying
this
ban
lady
anything,
embarrass
but I'm just
herself.
saying, think about what we're saying, because, yes, we should be free in comedy to go wherever we want. That's the art form, blah, 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 blah. But we're also free to drive a car. But we also understand there are rules and also conventions about not driving like an asshole. If it's going to really inconvenience or hurt somebody else. We know that. That's understandable. A lot of comedians are better people driving to the gig than they are at the gig. And that just makes me go, I wonder why you're doing that. I wonder why you're not choosing to be as funny about something else that isn't going to probably have a real world knock-on effect. So I would say to Alfie, and I bet you anything Alfie would go, that joke wasn't good enough and I don't know why I did it and I was experimenting with being edgy. I doubt Alfie would stand behind the joke or is still doing the joke about all the slurs and
no,
aren't
it
they
was from
hilarious?
8 years ago. He no longer does that.
Exactly.
When he was a younger man. And this is incredibly pertinent to the argument at a different time societally.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This is going to sound weird coming from me, but I think you on the most of it, you're actually agreeing. So me playing peacemaker here is strange. But I think actually what I'm hearing from Deborah is you agree cancelling people is a bad idea. But what this is something Francis and I have said from day one, which is I think cancel culture, first of all, it's a human thing anyway, but also it emerges from the gap between what we can prosecute legally and what we know is wrong and immoral behavior that can't be punished through the legal system. The legal system does not cover all forms of bad behavior, effectively, right? And so it was an attempt to deal with things that were sitting under the surface that couldn't be dealt with through the criminal justice system.
And sometimes just
Oh, what is this arc we're gonna miss?
You know, let's be incredibly honest about the rate, the
Oh my god, it's
conviction
American
is so
arc,
low.
Jesus.
Most women won't report because they just know their lives are going to be destroyed and they will not get any satisfaction. That's what prima facie the play was about. It's just so rare. So yes, there will be men, for example, in the comedy community who are, you know, criminals, but there's nothing we can do about it because they're not going to be convicted or we can't prove it in a way that, you know, the court expects us to. And actually everyone also in the British judicial system now has to watch prima facie before they do a trial to understand, that is policy, to understand how difficult it is for someone to come forward and then how difficult it is to go through that and how unlikely it is that they'll ever get any justice. So, you know, we are dealing with an incredibly broad spectrum of and this is the problem with it really, we all know that man has been accused of a number of women, but nothing is done, nothing continues to be done. And somebody made a really quite nasty, tasteless joke, but it was 8 years ago. He doesn't stand behind it. He'd like to get it taken off the internet. He's happy to apologize for it. And someone's dug it up because they've got a different beef with him now. Yeah. And can we see the kind of the spectrum that we're playing in? Yeah. And this is why I think we just need more nuance. And in all of these things, I just think we need more discussion because it's not either or and it's not this or that. It's crunchy stuff.
I'm just no, that's not good.
Through. We want to really sit with it and go, what kind of society do we want to be? And we want to take into account all of these things. We do want to take into account how Indigenous people lived and if there's anything we can learn. And we do want to take into account that comedy is crunchy and contravening norms is something that comedy has always done, but society has changed. And now, you know, it used to be that Lenny Bruce would say the unsayable, and there was one space for that, and it was a basement comedy club. And now, look at the internet. What is unsayable? There's something that you're saying that's so
Fuck's
edgy
sake.
that you've said every single day on Reddit. You do not need to perform the service of saying the unsayable every day anymore. People are saying all sorts of nasty stuff. And I think, you know, the idea that comedy is for, you know,
I can't. What the fuck, guys? Like, let me shoot at something.
The thing now is to be not transgressive, actually, when you look at people's daily life and what they're looking at on Pornhub and Quora and Reddit and, you know, all these different spaces. If you're still on X, bloody hell, like every unsayable thing is being said all of the time.
Well, the left did a thing about it obsessed with virtue signaling for ages, which is signaling how good of a person you are. What's happening on the right now is there's an obsession with vice signaling, which is the more transgressive the thing you say, the cooler you are. And so people are starting to say all this moronic stuff, not even often because they believe it or anything else, not even if it's funny or not. They're just saying it because it's transgressive, and that's the only purpose of it, which is obviously totally pointless and a giant waste. And it's made a lot of social media, which I actually always enjoyed. There's always been robust debate and all of this stuff, and I never mind people having a go at me and whatever. But I think it's just made the whole environment very. First, the worst thing about it is made it very inauthentic. It's made it very inauthentic in that you're not actually talking to human beings. You're just talking to people who are trying to say something like that. But anyway, we've talked about 2 of the 6 conversations. We talked about trans as much as we could, and we talked about cancel culture. What else have we not covered?
So the first chapter, there's some interesting stuff in there about how modern life is modeling cults. And one of the things that's said a lot is just picking up on what you said there is that people often say the internet makes us less empathetic, or social media makes us less empathetic. And there was, in fact, a study done in 2009 that said people are getting less empathetic. And actually, when you look into it, and I've broken it down in the book, it didn't really prove that at all. But it you know, you can read about it in the book. But what I'm arguing, there was another study. It didn't say that the internet had made it, just posited that, but it didn't actually look at that. And then there was another study that looked into it and found that social media made children more empathetic. And so I started looking at that, and what I discovered and what I'm arguing is that every single day social media, which we think, makes you less empathetic, it's trolls and keyboard warriors, every single day, it demands that you be more and more empathetic, but to fewer and fewer people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, one thing I argued against in 2016 when it came up. So I started the Guilty Feminist in end of 2015. 2016, it was kind of in full swing, and this "Men Are Trash" hashtag came up, and I was like, guys, what do you think a 14-year-old boy who's just trying to figure out how to be a man, I don't know, he's a nice guy, or he isn't in his little self, but he's probably just a little complicated person who isn't anything yet. He's just figuring out how to be a human being and how to be a man. How is that landing with him?
I'll be honest with you, Deborah. As someone who was in their mid-30s at the time, and has always, you know, I'm not saying that I've succeeded, but I've always tried to be a good person and do my best. That really pissed me off.
It pissed me off because what I was saying at the time was, okay, so there's again, it's not binary. I don't really believe in this sort of it is that or isn't that. We're all on a spectrum. We're all flawed. We're all doing our best. There are some people, probably on polar opposites, who just get out of bed every day to make other people happy, or some people who are blatant sociopaths and who, you know,
It's slowed down, fucker.
psychopaths who are not empathetic at all. But most of us are in the middle. We've got some love, we've got some fear, and all the other emotions are those 2 emotions in costumes. That's what I think. It's just we're all trying to struggle through. So for me, a 14-year-old boy hearing that, just to use the most extreme example probably, I feel like what he's hearing is you can't be any better than you are on your worst days. And if you're on your best day and you're really trying hard, or you advocate for somebody else, it doesn't really matter because we're going to see you as trash anyway. And I said at the time,
I love that. Look at the A, dude. Is that not fucking badass?
Begging feminists to stop using it.
So cool.
And I think they were kind of riding high a little bit on what was happening in the world.
It has to be Twitch.
You know, there was a time.
Everything looks great on my end.
A little bit of getting our own back. I think that's what was going on at that time because women had felt
No dropped
not
frames,
listened to,
smooth
not
bitrate.
heard. It was before Me Too.
I'm barely using
we all we
CPU,
had is a
right?
March.
1%.
If we'd even had a
Bro,
March then,
I went from
we
using like
hadn't had a March.
25%
We had
CPU
our
on
March
OBS to
we probably
1.
hadn't even had a March. It was
Dude, what a beast
so,
I'm on now, dude.
It was such a
Holy
time of
fuck.
kind of clawing for something. But I was saying at the time, that 14-year-old boy, that's what he's hearing. And guys who are really bad, who hurt women, when they are caught, I know this is true, psychologists, and also I had somebody.
Why is
in
my
show from the
Steam
government
making
where
that
they
noise? I
specifically
turned
work
that
on
shit
this
off, I
problem.
swear to God.
This is absolutely true. Men who hurt women, when psychologists work with them, truly believe that all men do it or want to do it, but just aren't man enough, quote unquote. That's what they think. So when you tell men are trash, the ones who do hurt women are hearing that and going, yeah, all men are trash. So when men say to me, not all men, I go, yeah, we know. 100% of the men I've been with have not killed me. I know. I live with men. I work with men. I get in a cab. I know it's not all men. I want men who are basically good guys who wouldn't hurt women to tell the other ones, not all men. Because the ones who do hurt women, they think it is all men. They're the ones you need to tell. You don't need to tell me. I know it's not all men. I think it is the minority of men who are violent towards women. Mm-hmm. And by the way, male-on-male violence is much higher than male-on-female violence. It is a male problem. But the truth of the matter is, if men stop killing, killing would stop. Very, very few deaths are from women, and generally it's either women in self-defense or in coercive control situations under the grip of a man. That's the fact. So it is not all men. Please tell the men it is. It's not all men, because they don't hear me because I am the other to them.
We'll get you back to the interview in just a sec. But first, imagine this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my end.
There's a giant billboard with all your personal details on it. Your passwords, your credit card numbers, your bank logins. Just there for anyone to see. Sounds insane, right? Well, that's basically what you're doing every time you go online without ExpressVPN. Whether it's using dodgy airport Wi-Fi or grabbing a coffee at your local cafe.
I don't know what that is.
Secure,
but everything is like smooth as butter on my end. 0 drop frames, 7000 bitrate, it doesn't fluctuate that much. Oh, I can't read it now because Marvin messaged me on Steam, which made my taskbar go over the fucking information.
Locking everything down tight. And the best part, it couldn't be easier to use. Open the app, click one button, done. It works on your phone, laptop, and tablet.
That'll burn
Even when I'm traveling, I know I'm protected. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/trigger. That's EXPRESSVPN.com/trigger.
Yeah, I'm sorry too on my own stream.
Up to 4 extra months
on
free.
YouTube, on
One
Google,
time.
or on my browser. I don't know what it is.
Sorry,
I just opened a friend of mine's stream and see if he has it too.
The thing that I knew was going to happen was there was going to be a backlash. Yeah. There is only so long you can tell a group of people that they are wrong, evil, stupid, disgusting, simply through the fact that they have these immutable characteristics before they turn around and go, you know what? Q. And I see Andrew Tate as part of
we
that
won.
backlash, if I'm being
We had to
honest.
take out the airfields at the end, and we did.
What, because, and people, and by the way, I am no fan of Tate. I want to make that absolutely clear. But to me, when people go, this is awful, of course he's awful. That is a symptom of a backlash.
No, it's
Tate
this
isn't
one
the
right
problem.
here, dude.
The problem is what is underneath that.
There's no way you only had 77
I would
experience.
suggest that we cannot blame feminism for the manosphere. The manosphere is far too.
I'm not blaming feminism. I'm blaming all men are trash, and that kind of punitive, vengeful, vengeful movements
I think
have created a backlash. That's my argument.
I would say that misogyny is a deep and vast mine, and I don't think you can really blame very recent feminist marches and some hashtags for it. It's much deeper than that. Andrew Tate is much deeper than that. It hasn't helped, I'll give you that. And I was saying it all through that. I was going, those 14-year-old boys now, they were 16 then. How old are they now? Going to be 24, 25?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are looking to Jordan Peterson. A lot of them are looking to Andrew Tate. And that, to me, again, is a spectrum of manospheric ideas. And then that bleeds into Zuckerberg going, we need more masculine energy at Facebook. I've worked at Facebook. They do not need any masculine
Well, actually,
energy.
it's interesting you bring
full
up
of
Jordan
programmers.
and Andrew in the same sentence, because I actually see the distinction between the two of them as very telling. Jordan Peterson was a male role model for men of our generation, some men of our generation, a very constructive figure who told them how to be better, and taught them certain values and importance of, there's a clip where we had somebody on our team who had a baby recently, and I sent him a video of Jordan's talking about the most important thing when your child is born is to look after your wife. That's your job. That's your number one job. So he had a very positive impact on young men. The next generation's male role model is Andrew Tate. And I think that difference and that negative evolution is precisely the point that Francis is making. I never really felt that the all men are trash thing was an attack against me, but there are a lot of young men, younger than us, who did feel that. And that thing you're talking
Watch
about,
on YouTube instead,
vengefulness, it's the thing that we find very off-putting about the right.
Yeah, I don't know why they're
Particularly
fucking
America.
freaking out on Twitch.
They're
There
like,
should
"Oh,
be no
now we have the
reason.
power, and now we're going to show them."
And
that's exactly what men felt.
It
when
makes
a
no
lot of men felt,
sense.
especially young men who are not as advantaged as people like to pretend in our society. We've just had various reports come out about the fact that the gender pay gap now works the other way and all sorts of other things.
I would like to see that.
Yeah,
but
you should look into it.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, you should look into it. So the point I'm making is that evolution from Jordan Peterson to Andrew Tate.
We're supposed to defend
is
this thing, by the way.
exactly thing that Francis
Don't go
is
too far
talking about
forward.
as the backlash.
Do you not think Jordan Peterson has missed the turn off now? I've seen him say some really unpleasant things about women.
Like what?
Oh, just that men can't control insane women, that kind of thing. It's
I mean, no one can control insane women, that's for sure.
I mean, do you not find that?
No one can control insane men either. Insane people are quite difficult to control.
Well, yeah, but it's said in a context of, that's what they like. You can find, if you Google
Yeah,
Jordan Peterson quotes about
you
women,
Google
you'll find.
anyone's
Yeah, I don't know what Twitch is doing,
I
dude.
have seen him say stuff
Like,
that I find
I
unpleasant.
can't see
know
anything on
Jordan
my
very
end.
well.
On my
I've
end
been
is
on tour
fine.
with him. I've seen 10,000 people turn out.
I think
for
it's
a
hilarious. I'm
work
using like
press,
1% CPU.
and
Less
I've
now,
seen him
actually.
talk to the people who come to shows afterwards.
When before
And
it was
call them
like,
to a person
oh,
saying,
your
"You
CPU's
bring
overloaded.
here's the
Oh,
girlfriend,
20% usage of
etc."
CPU.
An incredible positive impact.
Oh.
I'm not saying
Millions of
he
people.
has.
I'm
not
still
saying
having
he
that
has
new
not
PC,
said anything wise. I'm
giddiness.
saying I find it kind of a bit scarier sometimes when somebody has this sort of respectability element of look at all my well-dressed fans, and then they can start to say almost anything because they have.
Jordan's done quite
convinced
the
people.
opposite, though. He's become far more considerate and careful over time.
Maybe I missed that phase of Jordan, and
Yeah.
I'll look back into it. But I've seen things that I haven't got them to hand, and I don't want to be misquoting.
Ah, that was too close.
But I've
Could've
seen
been
things that
hearing
have
this.
troubled me about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And-
I'm sure. But that doesn't mean he's a bad person. It just might mean that you have a different view of things, right? Like you and I have a different view of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I come away from this conversation thinking you're a bad person or you hate men.
Well, I hope
Likewise, the other way around, right? So, what I'm saying, the point I'm making is not. Jordan's human. I'm sure he said things that you don't like. I'm sure he said things I don't like. But on balance, he's someone who's made a huge positive impact on men. Andrew Tate, I see, is very much the opposite of that, right? And the point Francis is making is, I think there's a lot of truth to the idea that this constant, the thing that you were against,
Got him.
speaking against, is what's created that.
Ain't
shift.
no island
So
gonna
that
stop
now we've
me.
gone from Jordan Peterson to Andrew Tate.
I think it's a lot more sinister than that. I think it's. I don't think it's helped, and I opened by saying this didn't help.
No, I
No,
agree.
we
This
agree.
did not help, and the constant them and using, the cult like them and using, and I do see this on both sides.
Definitely.
I see
Yeah.
it. I see it across the board, across the political scape, and I feel like my side is the progressive left.
Yeah.
And therefore, I want to keep my own house.
I'm
in
liking
order.
this ship, dude.
And I also think the progressive left are meant to be empathetic.
This is the
and
dockyard
helping
ship.
other people up. That's the whole name of the game for us. What are we doing? Saying anybody is trash. It's dehumanizing.
Right.
I don't
Absolutely.
know why we're doing it. And I fought against it for years. And I
You sound like a train,
angry
like literally like
that
a
it has
train.
exacerbated the situation. However, I also think when you look at Project 25 and the Heritage Foundation in America and the rise of the trad wife and the increasing unpleasantness of far-right
I need to
politics
change my
that is
key
rising
bindings
up,
or like
and Elon Musk
swap
trying
those
to
things
buy
around.
elections across America for the
T
far,
needs to
across
be
Europe for
healed.
the far right. I think it's just so much more sinister. The Andrew Tate of it all is so much more sinister than.
Dude,
well,
I love
you're
pressing
gonna say
N
we're
in these
trash,
boats. It's
we're
so
gonna
stupid.
build a
The fact
new
that they even added
Renaissance.
it, but it
I
is
think there's
fantastic.
so much else driving it and going on, and I think it's a little cosmetic
I love
to
it.
say
So what is
it's the
driving it,
fault
do you
of.
think?
Honestly, I think I had a really interesting conversation, which is in the book. I've got it as an interview in the book with a guy called Neil Datta, who is the head of the European Forum for Sexual Reproductive Rights in Europe. So it's European, obviously in Europe. And so it's basically a forum, and he gets all the MPs that care that women have. It's really that women have access to birth control, abortion, and cervical smears, for stop cancer, and just basically that kind of package. And
Stop. He
it's,
turned.
Basically, he
Pushback.
explained to me, and then I looked.
Is this the
into it
mission
and
where there's
discussed-
a motto at the end?
check
Oh, we're
out,
gonna fail this mission, by the way.
That around 2012, there was, I don't know how much I really want to say about this, and maybe I should just let people read it in the book. But basically, there was some Christian far-right nationalists who got very angry that they were losing, based on the fact that both the UK and France brought in equal marriage. And it was around that time, and they went, okay, if it's the mad Scandis, the Danes will marry a chair. That's nothing to do with us. But when it's the United Kingdom and when it's France, we've got to do something here. And they came over and they had a forum in, they had a sort of conference in the UK around 2011, 2012, that time. And they said, we've got to stop asking what do we want, and we've got to start asking what can we get. Because if we come into the UK saying no abortion, anti-gay rights, we'll be laughed at as crackpots. And one of the questions they asked was, what do feminists disagree on? And do you know what they came up with? Trans rights. But there'd always been a little bit of a, back to the 60s. Is that gay rights? Is that queer rights? Is this
How's
does
this
it belong in
related to
feminists?
anti-Tate? Sorry, I don't follow.
So it's all part of the same sort of bubbling up of this is not how we want it to be. And I think there's a real
That's actually
you can
kinda
really
close.
draw a line between the kind of bubbling up of this extreme misogyny and at the same time that Heritage Foundation
There's
family
no way.
values. And there's
No.
evidence that the Heritage Foundation are funding the trad wives. Like, do you know that ballet
Yeah.
farm?
Yeah, I'm
Ballerina
familiar
farm?
with, but forgive me, I'm genuinely not being
It's just like
difficult. I don't follow how Andrew Tate comes from that.
I think it's just like a landscape. Well, here's an example. Andrew Tate has now been given he was here somewhere in
He
where
was in Florida.
Florida. He's been moved to Florida, but he was moved.
No,
from,
no, he wasn't moved to Florida. He was granted leave by the Romanian courts, and he's a U.S. citizen, so he went on holiday to Florida.
I thought that was somehow given to him by Trump. Or,
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
Trump
No,
wasn't
no,
aware.
no, I think Deborah's right. I think the Trump administration put pressure on Romania to release him to be able to go
Right,
back
that's
to
what
the
I
US.
thought happened.
I'm
That's
pretty
what I
sure
thought
that is
happened. And
yeah.
that's what I read, and one must always check one's sources on the internet. But that's what I read, and,
No,
and
I
it,
think that is accurate. But
and it just feels like a sort of rising tide to me.
okay, let me give you a
of-
different version because that sounds a little wishy-washy. But actually, what you're getting at, I think, is not inaccurate. A right-wing person, of whom I know many, would say that what you're describing
Z.
is a
What
reaction
CPU did
to
I get again? I
progressive
got a
overreach.
Ultra 2 85K.
Now, I don't
Ultra
think
9
gay
to
marriage
85K.
is progressive overreach.
24
but
cores,
many
baby.
other things- by the way, I think part that we've talked about that's missing from this is the social media aspect, which comes along around 2014, and you see the rise of all of this stuff happening. But there are lots of other things that people will describe as progressive overreach to which they're reacting, and Andrew Tate and all sorts of other social movements are certainly a reaction to that, which is the sense that, like, you know, you said it yourself, you know, we now
And
finally
Z870
have the opportunity to get our
Mobo.
message across. And
Ironically,
there was a
with
kind of credence to
Wi-Fi,
that.
even
There
though
was
I
a
obviously
faithfulness
use
to that.
Ethernet,
There
but
was
the without Wi-Fi motherboard was for some reason more
which
expensive.
has been intact for a very long time.
Don't ask me
You know,
why.
You can't expect.
I can't
people
explain
to
that
have
either.
No voice for so long and be
then
kept
we're
in the
stuck
dark.
in this doom loop.
And then
if no one
not come out and have something to say
Right,
about
if no
it.
one
You know?
And
Forgot
64
that, so
gigabytes
we're
of
stuck in
DDR5 RAM
I think it's
at
unfair
6,000
to say that women
clock
took vengeance. They took some glee, I would say. Some women took some glee. But
Yeah,
again,
I'm an
some
Intel
women.
fanboy, dude. It's
Feminists
like
is a
I
tiny
can't.
group, really. When you look at the most people in this country,
The guy was like, and this really good. I'm like, yeah, but I also need to run like 4 virtual machines. Like I like to run a lot of virtual
That
machines.
hashtag
Can
was
I
trending, and it
ask-
wasn't
And
just a hashtag.
hopefully I need to do
You
it for my
cannot
job
equate-
too
you cannot
eventually,
equate
right?
some very powerful men to
So
some- who's the equivalent of Donald Trump and Elon Musk who can actually change our lives? Name me
Intel,
that woman.
you know?
And I'll tell you what it isn't. It's not Hillary Clinton. It's not
yeah,
Kamala Harris.
I paid
It's Hillary
1,700
Clinton.
euros for everything.
set aside those two. I
Already had a
certainly wouldn't say those two are far right.
4070 Ti
But
Super,
You would say
so I
Elon
didn't
Musk
need
and Donald
to
Trump were far right.
Definitely not.
They're literally cancelling
to use that or change
Everything.
that.
anything. They're cancelling. They're destroying lives
Okay,
right now.
perhaps we have a different definition of what far right is. What would you say? What's the definition of far
Well,
right in your head?
what about them isn't far rightist? I would ask you.
But
what
in order
about
to
what
answer your
they're
question-
doing isn't far right?
Yeah, I understand your question. In order to answer your question, we both have to agree on a definition of far
They've
right.
literally said
No,
they've
but-
taken.
Deborah, just pause for a moment. What is your definition of far right?
It's far further than fiscal conservatism.
Okay.
It is social conservatism that says there is one proper way to live, and that way is a heteronormative family, 2.4 children. Women should be having babies.
That's far right?
This is all Heritage Foundation values. This is all Project
So this is
2025
far right.
staff, and this is. Well,
A nuclear
also,
family
you
is
don't
far
agree with
right?
this.
Yo, bro.
Here's an example. Of
This is like the
something
exact-
far right that Trump and Musk are doing. If you don't,
If you're to
agree
the left
with
of
this,
Mao, you're far right. Or to the right of Mao, you're
if
far
you go
right.
to if universities allow illegal protests by which
As
they
a
will
nuclear family, far
protest,
right.
the students will be instantly dismissed. This is what the American government are saying. If so, you're at Harvard, you want to protest. That government decide that's a legal protest.
It's like, I don't even disagree with some of the points that she makes, but some other points are just so outlandish that you cannot take these people seriously.
The students will be instantly dismissed. If they're foreign students, they'll be sent home. They may be arrested and imprisoned, no matter where they're from. And if the university is allowed it, all federal funding will be pulled from that university. Does that or does that not seem to you to be verging into fascism?
No, I don't think it's verging into fascism. But so.
What would help
So look, I
cause your
think
alarms to go off then?
the right to protest is incredibly important.
And if without it, what do we have?
Hold
What
on
kind
a
of
sec.
government do we have?
Hold on a second. I'm answering your question. The right to protest is incredibly important. I think the interesting thing about those particular cases that you're referring to is whether there is celebration, glorification, promotion of terrorism, which is illegal both in this country and in the US. And I think that's probably where the dividing line is on that issue. I'm a little bit confused.
Please do not think for 1 second this isn't going to hit queer people, LGBTQ plus people. It is hitting them right now. There are states where they are arguing to take
Oh, no, that's way too short.
that
Maybe.
right to equal marriage, and there are states which are putting forward these sort of I can't remember what they call them now, but sort of some kind of special trust marriages where we give you a tax break, but the marriage is one from which a woman cannot divorce a man, basically, without these really old-fashioned, like we're literally talking about the rights that women fought for, that unless you can prove that your partner's been faithful or you can prove that they've been significantly abusive, you cannot divorce them.
Yes.
I mean, we are heading into Gilead. We really are.
That's not. None of those are things that anybody here supports. But I'm just coming back to this idea of Trump and Musk being far right. You initially talked about the Heritage Foundation, traditional marriage, all of that stuff, and then we talked about fascism. So, is your definition? Are you saying Trump and Musk are fascists?
I'm saying that the
guy got
government
fucked.
is making moves which makes
gotta go
anybody who
repair.
is frightened of fascism, which should be all of us, very scared. Like, I feel like saying if it's an illegal protest, and what kind of protest does Trump like? You know Trump. What does he like?
I don't know Trump.
Well, you know, you've seen him in power
Bro,
before.
this ship is
If
great,
the
dude.
students were all out protesting in a state where they were taking away equal marriage, and there were loads of gay
I'm pretty
students.
sure Trump is pro-equal marriage, isn't he? And Elon, certainly. I would imagine.
They're all pro it while there's social capital in it, but he hasn't been saying anything positive about gay people lately, has he?
Has he said anything negative about gay people?
I'm pretty sure.
Which way is the wind blowing, be honest, in America about gay rights?
Yeah,
But
And who's in charge?
yeah, but this is the interesting thing because it's the worrying thing about the right now. Trump seems like a moderate compared to some of the people who are outside of the halls of power.
Well, then in that case, someone else is pulling the strings and he's allowing them to be fought because it is fast going towards.
I don't like, neither does Francis, a lot of the things that are happening in America in particular on the right. You don't need to convince anyone here of that. I'm kind of a bit of a stickler for definitions because I think it's important. And one of the things, this is one of the big things that's happened that really always worried me with wokeness. And I think we're now seeing, unfortunately, the tragic results of that, which is when people throw around labels like fascist and Nazi and bigot and whatever irresponsibly, as they did. And they continue. What then happens is there are now actual Nazis, not people who say trans woman isn't a woman or whatever, but people who actually are doing Holocaust denial, people who are actually saying Hitler was a good guy, all of this stuff, and we can't call them a Nazi anymore and be credibly believed because the left spend years calling people a Nazi for thinking pronouns are funny or whatever. Do you see what I mean?
I think you can, and
it has no effect on the right anymore. It has no effect.
I
Because
don't
the power
really
of those
think
words
you
got
can.
taken away.
I don't really think you can blame some young people who, like, the internet is a vicious place,
It wasn't
and the
young
internet's.
people. David Lammy called the ERG. He went on national television in Britain with Andrew Marr and said that the ERG, basically a group of conservatives who are pro-Brexit, are worse than Nazis. It wasn't young people. It was
Well,
the entire left. It was
I
the
don't
entire
know.
left.
We do know that Boris Johnson is with Steve Bannon, who is a white supremacist. We do know that there are links between Viktor Orban, Salvini and others. I'm not backing off on this. Never will I back off on this on behalf of my constituents and the BBC.
So just for clarification, Cybershot, you're Marvin, right? That's Marvin?
And often the
these are
flip side
elected
of it,
Conservative MPs.
I don't care how elected they were, so was the far right in Germany. They're often elected, often giving a cover for the thugs on the ground.
Look, I don't know that it was the entire left. I don't remember calling anyone a Nazi, and I would say myself on the left. I think we've all got a problem. that we
Okay,
go on the
I'm just
internet
making
and
sure,
whatever the
'cause
worst
obviously
things that we see,
wildly
even though
different
there's
name.
fewer of them than the best things, and there's fewer of them. Most people aren't even on social media in that capacity. They're just sharing their holiday snaps and their pictures
Nice, I
of
got it.
grandchildren. And we decide that's who society is and that's who the left
That's
is.
true, but David Lammy and prominent
Oh, now I'm gonna die.
politicians and prominent left-wing activists and prominent left-wing campaigners and prominent left-wing figures all used these words and threw them around deeply irresponsibly, in my opinion. And now we have lost the language to describe the things that are happening.
Well, that may
Hello.
be the case. I'm not suggesting that people should have called people
I almost had
Nazis who were, in fact,
666,666.
who they felt a vociferous
Missed it.
disagreement with, or were perhaps, in my opinion, taking steps towards the space we're in now. But I don't think you can blame
I destroyed 7
that
ships, bro. I'm
for
like in the
people-
Gambia.
If I
Holy
hear
fuck.
somebody described as a Nazi, it doesn't make me go, I'll show you what a real Nazi is. Nobody becomes a real Nazi
That's
who
not my argument.
wasn't
No, I understand. You're
who-
right. You're right.
who
but
wasn't
that's not
seething with those thoughts.
That's not my argument. I'm not saying we've created Nazis. I'm saying we now can no longer call out Nazis for being Nazis because the word Nazi no longer has the meaning that it did because it got eroded. That's what I'm saying. But
Sure.
it sounds like you agree, which is fine.
Sure.
And that's why I
Green
picked up
XP
on
is
the
free
far-right
XP.
one,
You'll
'cause I
always
don't
get
think
low.
Donald
It's
Trump
the
is
one
far-right.
next to it that
I
you
just
want.
don't. The guy was a Democrat. If you look at his policies, some of which I like and some of which I don't like.
Watch.
On the broad scale of it, he's a pretty moderate center-right guy.
This
Donald
is the
Trump has
XP
a
you
new
want, the
ideology
ship
except
XP.
More power and glory.
And you
for
got
Donald
2,000
Trump.
of that.
I don't think. I think we impose.
Well, maybe not
we
2,000. Yeah, you
impose
do have
far
premium.
more
You've got like a month of
intellectual
premium, right? Yeah,
rigor
you got like
on
2,000.
That man, then there's just nothing there except more for me. More. Elon Musk is the same. It's just more for me, more money for me. How could anyone need that many more billions and still want more billions?
I don't think it's about money, actually.
And take a chainsaw. No, but it's about what money represents, which is.
Alright, I'm done with this one. Get back on Steam. Or on Discord. And open your stream again as well. No more screeching, lady. It got boring. They got over the contentious part. God, bro, I'm really torn. I really don't know. Yo.
Oh, what's up? What my up?
Yeah. Show me your equipment.
Okay.
Okay, see, you've got 7,906 ship experience. So research your torpedoes.
Let me catch up. Hang on. 7,000 something. What?
Yeah, you see, it says 6 Gada, ship XP 7,906.
Oh, okay.
So that's your
Okay,
ship
done.
XP. Use that for the 5,000 torpedo. So click it, research it. Do not equip the torpedoes. So just
Okay.
click no, yeah. Then you don't have to waste 430,000. And now you need 40,000 to get to the submarine.
All right, let's do this. Which mission gives me 40,000?
The ones we're about to
Oh,
do,
okay.
but you have to play 20 of them.
Yeah.
God, I don't know which one to get, dude. The sub or the fucking Napoli.
What's the other one? The non-sub.
The Napoli.
I don't know what that is.
It's a cruiser.
Oh, cruiser. Should probably
That's-
get the cruiser. I think you do better with cruisers. I just want to shoot torpedoes all day.
Yeah, me, I like torpedoes too, man. The submarine's pretty cool, and apparently it's like the best submarine in the game. So it's like, But the Napoli is also like, they're both two of the best ships in the game, essentially, which is what's making it a hard choice. And the Napoli is Italian, so it's not like I can train captains on it, but the U-boat's a submarine, so it's not like I can take captains on it there.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, you gotta make up your mind. Which one do you want? Do you want your?
Well, I want both of them, obviously, but they're only 2K call apart, so it's that's academic. Click on ready.
All right. Sounds like you're trying to get everything.
Well, yeah. But, you know, the good shit first, right?
See, this is
You
why
said
I
it, man. It's a
specialize.
gacha game with
Fine.
with warships, man. Gotta catch them all.
Oh man, even with the other gacha games I've played, I picked one type, like one warrior class, and then I just went ham on it.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how gacha games work. I don't play any gacha games.
This is a gacha game. It's basically like this.
Okay, remember, this is the one where the destroyers spawn right on top of us on the left side port. So be careful of
Like
those.
just imagine when you open the crates, instead of like the supplies and stuff, it's like ships. That's basically what a gacha game is.
I actually play a lot of submarines, Marvin. Jump in Discord, dude. You don't have to play the game. You can just jump in Discord, it's fine.
Yeah.
I actually do like playing submarines, though. That's the thing. Like, I really like playing submarines. They're fun. Until I get spotted immediately, get pinged sonar, and dip charged. Then they're not so fun. But when I'm blasting people, or I'm like chasing a battleship down, and like just shooting torpedoes at it, and eventually you sink it, I laugh my ass off. You know? Like, it's one of those evil fucking evil grins that I really like.
You say that, but you're always on the cruiser or battleship. I think cruiser. You're on the cruiser.
Yeah, because I need to for the fucking coal missions, man. I need to get the coal to be able to buy the submarine. Like, that's why I was on the MITS. The MITS was giving me shit tons of coal, but I did all the missions now, finally. And I just got this mission from the dock. I got this premium ship from the dockyard. I actually really like it. It's great.
Yeah, so this voice pack, whenever I hit the smoke, it's just like the girls just coughing on the ship, just like coughing their ass off.
Well, you picked some fucking anime pack? Of course you did. Why am I even surprised? Right?
I didn't know if it was the anime pack or not. I just saw like the mermaids, and I have a mermaid on my like emblem, so I just picked it to match. I guess it's anime. Like I said, I have no idea. Like it just said mermaid something.
I don't know. I haven't used that one yet.
Yeah, I just find it funny every time I smoke screen. It's just coughing, choking on the smoke. And then like occasionally you hear like a line like, "OMG, attacking from the rear," or something like that. Port side. Pretty funny.
Bro, this is one of those ships that can make it rain. I love it. I didn't think the dockyard ship would be this great. Because, you know, it's...
What's the difference between a dockyard ship and the other ones?
Well, the dockyard's like...
Oh.
It's like that event thing where you're, like, building the dockyard. And I got to where you got a free ship. And the free ship is actually pretty fucking good.
I would hope so, if you're custom building.
Well, no, it's not custom built.
What? Then why are you building it?
It's like an event thing, dude. Like you're building the dockyard, and like it looks like you're building a ship, and then at the end you get the ship that you're building supposedly, but in the middle there's another free ship, this one that I just unlocked. But there's no way I'm gonna get to the end because there's 17 days left. Not to mention you have to buy the last 2 levels, and that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it sounds like shenanigans where they just they want you to spend money to speed.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, because you can like buy levels. That's why it was gold for you. You could buy like the first 2 levels until you make them. Get a jump start on your duck building shit. Only $20. Like, yeah, fuck off, dude. Like,
yeah, this is a gacha game. This is gacha for ships.
Well, they definitely use FOMO as fuck. Like, it's crazy. I actually really despise that about this game. Like, I think that's like... FOMO should be, like, illegal.
It really should. Did you hear about the Nintendo? You no longer own your consoles?
Yeah, what Marvin just said on the chat is probably really true. The funny thing about gacha games is they're less monetized than wargaming games. Like, these guys are like...
They actually are, to be honest.
Dude, these guys are like the cream of the crop in like filth that tries to steal your money, right?
I mean, yeah, I can see it because this is like the worst, one of the worst games I've seen where it's just like constantly just ads everywhere to spend money.
Yeah.
These gacha games.
To be fair, like to be
A chance to free play.
a minutely amount of fair to them, you can grind for it, but the grind is so fucking rough. Little do they know I have no fucking life and I'm a degenerate, so fuck them, right? I'm grinding for it, but yeah. But they do use like psychological tricks to make you pay, which is why I think it should be illegal, like this type of monetization and FOMO, because it plays on people's psyches heavily.
Well, that's their fault for falling for it. That's why these things exist.
No, everyone falls for it. That's why it's like a human psychological thing.
What do you mean? Like, play the game? Because I'm not spending any money on this game. Do that now.
No, I mean like the psychological aspect of it. It's like
Of what?
of making you eventually trying to get you to spend that first purchase, and then the floodgates open, right? Once you make the first one, even if it's like $5, you're like much less inclined to. Fuck! It still hit me, cunt. See, I still can't see the rear of my ship, man. It's really annoying when torpedoes are coming my way.
That's what they do. They get you to spend like hours and hours into the game, and then at the end is when they start to like make you have to spend money to get what you want. After you already spent like 60 days playing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that should be wildly illegal.
Yeah, it really should. That's why I just don't play those games. Okay, like for example, okay, have you heard of Shadowverse?
No.
Okay, it's a card game. I got everything I needed for free. They gave me free bonus packs, whatever, and I made a 100% competitive deck instantly, all for free. See, games like that, that's what I'm talking about when I say gotcha. You have
I
the
didn't think it
option
was
to
going that
pay for it,
fast.
because, you know, it's a card game, but they gave me everything I needed to make a competitive deck.
I'm not doing too much this game.
Oh, by the way, Yu-Gi-Oh sucks.
Yeah, I've never played any of those things, dude. I'm a little old for those.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's stupid. It's a scam. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh's a legit scam.
I played the
goes
fuck
to
out of
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Magic,
but
though.
cards. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Yu-Gi-Oh, you think it's like a card game, like Magic? It's not. It's like a legit scam. They just make up a bunch of rules and stuff on the cards to make you to simulate a card game, but it's not really an actual card game. Defined rules. People get addicted to it. But like Shadowverse is like closer to Magic than Yu-Gi-Oh is. It's actually a legitimate card game, but online.
Why do I have two different firing modes when I only fire one at a time?
Dude, what are we doing? I still don't understand this mode.
We're doing missions. Top right. Left. Top left, sorry.
Every time I try to kill someone, they're already dead before I can shoot at them. Save at least 4 allied ships. Like players?
No, the guys in front of us, they're bots.
Who?
The Bunker Hill, the Saratoga. Those two Fletchers in the front that are about to get themselves killed. Those are also bots.
How am I supposed to tell they're bots? Like,
By
what
the
do you know?
yeah, by the names. If it's not like, you know, no clan tag and no numbers, it's probably a bot.
I can't believe people still roll names with numbers. That's the craziest thing online.
Sometimes it's their birth date. It's like, why would you put that in there?
Oh, so your name is Burnhand 4711. Okay. Thanks for your social security number.
Like people that use their actual real name. Oh, my name is Davy Jones, and what I'm gonna use on my internet in my video game. Oh, Davy Jones, of course, because I'm an idiot. Like, why would you do that? No, don't ever put your real name on the internet. Even fucking now, I know I don't use my real name on the internet. What the fuck? Because I grew up on the internet since I was like, you know, a wee lad, and back in the day, you really didn't put your real name on the internet, because that's where, you know, like. You know how the ocean is where the monsters live? The Wild Wild West of the internet is also where the monsters lived. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do not put your real name on the internet, and I've never forgot that. You know? Those were some days, dude. I miss those days. I'm not gonna lie. Those were fun internet days.
I thought it was just common sense, but yeah. Some people don't have common sense, I guess.
I mean, but I guess these days it's so interconnected. Like, you need to put your real name in a lot of things, right? Because for, like, you know, you buy something, you better put your real name in, because if anything goes wrong and you have a fake name and they're asking that you prove who you are, how you gonna do that? You know? So I get it, but that doesn't mean you should, like, use your actual names or, like, reverse your name. I've seen people who do that. Like, it's like literally like, I don't know, Jenkins, and then their name is Sneak Age. Okay, bro. Everyone can see what you're doing. Like, why would you put? No, don't. Okay. I don't even, like, my brain can't even comprehend why you would do that. So I don't even know how to make, like, a coherent argument against not doing it. Just stop it. You're crazy.
Stop it. Get some help.
People are gonna steal that shit, dude. Like, they're gonna look you up. They're gonna find a shit ton of information about you. Because everyone puts their goddamn fucking life on Facebook as well. It's crazy.
No, you just see the super people who do that. Not everyone does it, but yeah, there's a lot of idiots out there.
Yeah, born in the 1930s. Yeah, I know, right? I did use my actual birth year, but I was like, oh yeah, I was born on the 1st of January. Totally. Like, because that way, I also only, because I'm super fucking lazy, I only need to change the year, and then we're good, right? But if they ever ask for my passport, obviously that's not gonna match up at all.
Yeah, January 1st, 1900.
And then I thought it would keep turning. We're still good. No, and now it turns. You fuck.
See, I'm not even playing the game. I'm literally just swimming around in circles right now. Can't hit anymore.
Learn how to aim.
They're dead before I get there.
Learn how to aim faster. You're in a destroyer, man. You're faster than everything else in this game right now.
Okay, that's it.
Just don't go too crazy, because you are also squishier than everything else in the game right now.
No. I'm just gonna run right into this guy, Kusa.
That actually does work, but you'll kill yourself too.
Or not, because he's dead already. Okay, you see what I mean? Torpedoes ahead. Secondary to AA guns enabled.
Smoking.
Now come on, let's get going.
Who's shooting at me?
Okay.
Right there.
My smoke is pretty shit though. I better use it when I'm already standing still. That's terrible.
What is on the left side? Do you hear that?
Light blinking on your computer.
Okay. What a fun game. So fun.
Well, it gave you 2,000 experience. Don't bitch. Oh, I got
So that's the
Ragnar.
Sasquatch. It didn't give me 2,000 experience.
Wait.
It gave me 479.
Isn't the Gambia?
What?
No. Fuckers. It's the other one. No, wait.
It gave me experience so I can grind more.
Wait, where do I see my captains?
Battle rewards.
Why did it say there was new? Where do I see my captains? There is news. What the hell? No, there isn't. The fuck? Or did he come with a ship? No, I'm so confused.
Why do I have 11 things on my profile? What does that mean?
11 things.
Yeah, there's a
Oh, you
number
open
in the red
boxes.
bubble.
Click on the profiles and then collections. On the left side, collections.
Collection. Okay. I got pictures of ships.
Yeah. If you get all of
What am I
those,
doing?
you get stuff. You just get them from opening boxes and stuff. Where do I see my captains? Because isn't the Ragnar for this guy?
Isn't it top right? I don't know.
But I have no... Let me guess, costs money.
I'll be right back.
Alright. I have no fucking idea. Surely I have to be able to watch my captains. I have like a reserve and everything.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, see, isn't that for the fucking same ship as the Gambia? Why can I not? I'm so fucking confused. Oh no, it's Europe. Oh, you cunts. Never mind. The Gambia is Commonwealth. Fucking Aussies.
Wow. Why do they sell paint jobs for 9 million? That is so dumb.
Because they're permanent. The non-permanent one costs like 100k or something, which is also retarded, but you know. Like I said, nickel and dime, psychological. You think they give you a captain and a ship? No, no, I didn't. I knew it. I knew it wasn't gonna give me with a ship. But it's like you have to be able to see where that captain is somehow. Like what the fuck? But because it was blue with a yellow thing in the back, I thought it was the same thing, but it's not. This is Commonwealth and he's Europe. Fucker.
The selected camouflage is unavailable. What? Whatever.
I know, right? It's not gonna happen. Actually, isn't the Jaeger European? Or is that also Commonwealth? It's a destroyer though, and the guy is made for a cruiser, so...
Raptor Rescue. Oh, we're doing Jurassic Park now?
Yeah. There's a carrier in front of us. We have to go get to we have to get to it. With the ships next to us, which are supply, resupply, repair, and rearmament ships. There's gonna be a destroyer spotting. A destroyer's gonna spawn to your right, and then 2 cruisers right behind it. Even more to the right. The 2 cruisers will come from behind the island next to us. The destroyer will spawn pretty much in like 10 seconds.
Attention, Task Force Commander.
I'm going to pretend there's a bunch of raptors on our ship, and they're going to the Jurassic Island.
Well, there are a bunch of raptors on the ship, but just the raptors are airplanes, you know.
No, I'm talking about the dinosaur.
I know. I'm just ignoring that because it's them.
It is great. You know it.
Here comes the destroyer.
Welcome to the Jurassic Ark.
Taking so long. Where's it at? Come on. Here it comes. We're being detected and it's shooting.
Where?
Oh, bullshit. Here come the cruisers.
What's with my keyboard? What the hell? Oh, great.
Oh, nice to see it all. Let's go. How did I not kill it with that salvo? What the fuck? That was surprising.
Did I get it?
No.
How did I not get it? What the?
The Scharnhorst got it.
That was so
Don't get
close.
too far away from the group, because I don't know. Well, there you go. Torpedo that thing and turn back, because you're gonna
I'm
be
trying.
you're gonna get fucked up. You're gonna die.
I smoke screened.
Attention, ship and squadron commanders. Pay special attention to torpedo defense.
Dude, what is that Gogaiza doing? The guy is a dead wish.
this gonna hit? Not even close.
Are you using the...
Oh, he turned around.
Yeah, you do have to... How come your waves are still... Did you not? I told you to turn the waves off.
What are you talking about?
In the mod list. Look at your waves, now look at the stream. Like, I get it, it looks cool, but it's super distracting, especially when you're in a destroyer, dude.
I did everything you told me. I don't
Clearly
know how.
not.
Maybe you just didn't. Maybe you just mistakenly thought you told me to turn them off.
No, I distinctly remember seeing that you had them on, and I said everything is good there. But apparently, you turned it off accidentally. The thing with the mod list is as well, if when you click on something to watch the description, it actually selects it immediately, so maybe that's what happened. But I would recommend you go through that again, because those waves are horrific. Holy shit, dude. Watch, Marvin, watch. Hang on.
Yeah, it's been like a. It's a bounce house over here.
Whoa.
Why
Your
am I
stream
stuck?
just started lagging.
Yeah.
Let's do display capture. Look.
Oh, am I still streaming on Discord? Oh, that's why it's lagging so much.
Check this out, Marvin. Look at this guy's waves. That's crazy.
Can I not enjoy things in life?
I mean, if you want those waves, that's fine, but holy shit. I feel like you clicked an option to make them worse. I've never seen those waves, dude. Oh shit, wasn't paying attention.
Oh shit.
Oh, that thing will fucking smash you out of the way, by the way. The NPCs do not slow down. You can actually use them for a boost to get started. You'll be like going 0, like literally standing in their way, they'll hit you and you'll be going 30 knots, bro. 100, it's fun. It works. Yeah, those waves are a bit much. You can barely see the destroyer you're shooting at with those waves.
This is Raptor. Enemy aircraft carrier detected. Destroy her. It's crucial for the squadron. Attention, squadron commander. According to reconnaissance data, one more enemy aircraft carrier is likely to remain in the combat zone. Seek and destroy.
Seek and destroy. Wir müssen die Flugzeugsschiff aufrauten.
This is as fast as you can go, man. I like my crew. This voice pack is great.
How did I not kill that thing? Get him! Oh my god, I missed everything.
Where? Off the... Are they not
Huh?
max range?
I'm just trying to get the carrier. It's being annoying. Someone else got it. Nope, they missed. Come on, come on, come on. No, they both bounced off the deck! Oh, we just got torpedoed to
We lost the
shit.
repair ship.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That Fusa fucked us.
I don't even know how. Oh, right.
The Raptor cannot die, by the way. That's the problem. If that thing dies, we lose.
Well, some battleships need to get in front of it or something. Where's it going? Why is it so slow?
You see on the minimap, all the way in the bottom,
DJ?
that little anchor
DJ?
thing?
DJ?
What?
Port side. Maybe those will max out.
They're
Torpedoes
not gonna
coming
get
out.
close. Oh, he got stuck.
Okay.
That AI got stuck on his buddy's corpse. That was glorious. Maybe? What are they supposed to give me? Dude, that dick is bouncing all of my shells. I gotta get it lower. Oh, that works.
Why am my gun not firing? What the? Are you? Wow. Wow. I might as well just AFK for the whole match. Like, this is ridiculous. Is he almost there yet? I don't even see him on the minimap. Raptor?
Well, I didn't have that one
Where's
yet.
Raptor?
It's the carrier. Okay, I didn't have the last one, but I did get the first one. Or I did have the first one.
What's your ship's top speed?
32. 31 and a half.
38.7.
Yeah, well, you're a destroyer.
Smoking.
Now, come on, let's get going.
Oh damn, those guys fucked me up. From the grave.
Are you kidding me? Not even close. Oh.
Bro, they're bots, they barely turn. Like, use the white line.
I did. Well, I aimed at the first ship. The first ship died somehow before my torpedoes got to it.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm on
I
the
torpedoed
aim-
that one. I torpedoed the first one.
I did not see torpedoes in the water when I shot it, so. Okay.
Hey, Quagmire, why is the red light blinking on your computer?
God, this is annoying. Oh, great.
Wait, what did he say? Oh, you hear clicking? Yeah. I already told him he could hold down the button. I'm actually really digging the Gambia though. It's pretty fun. Good reload, well, the range, 15 kilometers. Could be worse. Lots of guns. You can like really stagger it for like that shower effect. Torpedoes. Smoke. Hydroacoustics. Got everything, dude.
Where you at?
I died. Dude, I was like right in front of you when I died. Remember? I torpedoed the first ship, then I died, and then you were shooting the second ship? It happened 2 minutes ago?
I didn't see you because I was zoomed in on the torpedoes.
You see what I have to deal with here, guys?
Jesus Christ, man. How do you expect me to watch you die when I'm zoomed in on
Dude, you were like literally right next to me, man. You could like touch me, essentially. You were that close.
Are you not getting the part where I'm zoomed in on torpedoes?
Why would you zoom in on a torpedo? Just fire and forget. They hit. If not,
Oh my god. Oh
you've got
my
guns
god.
too, bro. You fire torpedoes off and then you just keep shooting.
Dude, are you okay? Why did you mention you could press a Z for torpedoes?
Well, technically, you should do that on a submarine. That's why you need to know that. Because on a submarine, you've seen me play a submarine, right? You know, you can like ping somebody to make the torpedoes home in on it. That's why you use Z. Because you fire off the torpedoes first. Because they can't see the torpedoes, but they can see the fucking ping. So you wait, and then you go to your torpedo, and then back again. Until you're at like 6 to 5 kilometers, maybe 4 even. And then you start firing your sonar pings. So the torpedoes they'll have way less opportunity to know torpedoes are coming. And to dodge said torpedo. That's why you use Z.
I'm ready.
I don't know. Are you claiming the 2 dailies in the armory every day? There's like 3 dailies.
I couldn't find a second earlier. I'll look for the other one. Where do I go? I claimed 1 earlier.
Which did you claim?
I don't remember.
That
It
one, right
was,
there. Right there, right there, right there, right there. No, go back. You were in the right menu.
Where? Here?
Yeah, that one all the way at the bottom on the right. 10 adventure tokens. For free. Oh, and then in the same window, go all the way up top and click on the top one. Did we make you accept those?
Show.
Or is that the one that I forgot to make you accept?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah,
Start
click
the
start.
adventure?
Yeah, click start. And then unlock. My bad. I forgot about that one.
Okay.
That's the annoying part about this game. Like, so many fucking menus where you have to click shit to open up missions and get free shit and like, oh my fucking god. Can you not just put that on the main menu? Jesus. You add a button that says free shit, and then when you click on that button, you get all of the free shit in one page. That would be so fantastic.
I got a very important question.
Go for it.
How do I get this girl?
Buy
The
her.
redhead. Where? Right here?
Look, it's 25% off, so it's only like $100.
No, I just want the redhead, no one else.
I don't know, dude. I don't look at that shit. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about that stuff at all.
Alright, give me a second. Let me check my
Maybe you're lucky
Well,
and
let
it's
me-
the collection
let me-
stuff. No, let me see what the collection gives. When is it?
Command Core Alpha.
No, you get a ship commander, but it's not the redhead. It's the one with big boobs that you get for the collection.
Here we go. Heidenberg.
Aslane mounting. It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
That's
they all have pretty big,
Hindenburg.
breasts.
Heisenberg's from Breaking Bad.
Oh, Hindenburg.
That is
Okay.
the worst fucking name for a commander as well, by the way, because the Hindenburg is that Zeppelin that like lit the fuck up in New York.
So you're telling me she's fire?
Well, that's your interpretation, I guess, suppose.
You're saying she's hot, and that's why she has the red hair to show that she's a fiery personality.
More like she was filled with helium, which was extremely flammable.
So she's
And
short.
considering I'm looking at your stream and she's got 2 giant helium balloons, I'd be very careful.
I like girls with a strong, short-tempered mind.
Just ready up so we can start
I like girls
playing.
with a fire personality.
Wasting my time on these anime waifus.
She comes in a 25k bundle, by the way.
Yeah, man, that
Much is
girl's
that?
that girl's a fire hazard, bro. One little spark and 200 people die.
Oh man, sounds very disastrous.
You definitely key your car.
What's with the load screen?
Sometimes
Did my game break?
it does that sometimes. You might have to Alt F4 and rejoin. Because we just started.
This is gonna be so fun.
Hey, ship it.
I think Exquisite had it in the same location. Alt F4. Start to allow you to. Should allow you to read. I mean, maybe you should have done Control Alt Delete. I'm not sure. To be honest. For science, we'll find out.
What is going on?
A screenshot. He's gonna have to send you like 15 screenshots, by the way, because there's a lot of options.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm talking in the chat.
What? Oh, okay. 15 screenshots.
Whoa, that is hot.
Go on, restart.
We dodged a bullet there.
Ah, I forgot to turn the waves off.
Whoa, that is hot. Improv.
Improv. Improv.
How do I change the mods? Do I just
You have to
Wait, that's
run the
the
installer that's on your desktop now.
every time I gotta run an installer?
If you want to change it, yeah.
Oh.
Well, the installer on your desktop, right? The two icons you were complaining about, one of them is the installer again.
Okay, so what would it be under? Waves? Do you have any idea what the waves are under?
It's somewhere, yeah, no. Somewhere in the middle, down below, I think. It's past the ship. I think it's past the ship. Is it? I don't know. Just go scroll. I don't know. I don't want to say. I'd be wrong.
Are you sure it's the mod? Not something in-game?
No, it's definitely the mod pack. It's called Minimal Waves V2. That's the one I have selected. It's probably under environment. That seems.
I see it. Map environment. Yeah, when I try to click it, it clicked big waves instead. That's what happened.
Yeah, okay. Big waves look terrible, dude. What the fuck?
I think my mouse was just a little above the minimal
It's
waves.
just when you click on it, right, to see the preview, it automatically selects it. I did that too the first time. Luckily, I noticed,
How do I
but
even preview up? Oh, show descriptions. All right. So much from our realistic ocean. Can't believe they have anime waifus for a game like this.
these guys do a lot of crossovers. Next week should be Warhammer 40k, which is
It does
one of
not
mine.
match the theme at all. Yeah, but anime 2D.
I
would imagine how some kind of realistic.
They're just trying to make money. Everyone likes big boobs.
Yeah, but
Except,
could
you
make,
know,
like, a
if
realistic
you're a
model.
Western video game company, then you just make them ugly as possible. For some reason.
People in the West even hate that. Okay. I'm in the game now. This water looks terrible. I'm basically sailing in the sky. Okay.
Yeah, but you can actually see something now. Improvement.
Dude, it's like the floor is not even here. It's like they glitched out.
Oh god! Oh god! I gotta get out of here!
How are you not in this game?
What do you mean?
Oh, thank god. I really dodged a bullet
It's
there.
because
Yeah,
it took too long.
put
The
me in a
gold,
different
the
game.
gold thing is gone. I'm the one in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, I had to actually read the names.
It's because it made you leave the division
Mm.
because you were offline too long.
Oh my god, I can't. Dude, this is so weird.
I think did or not?
Oh dear, what is it? Spontaneous.
Star Wars. I love all the tracers. They're really swag.
Oh, thank god. I really dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my water is flatter than yours somehow.
The stream's off. I can't tell.
I think you might have chosen minimum, and I chose the minimum mirror or something. Yeah, your water has actual waves. Mine does not. It's just flat.
Oh, it was 8.
I'm gonna shoot you like a dirty animal.
Dude, I can't even tell if I'm moving. That's
What? That's ridiculous.
This is more like it.
I see.
Improv.
There's a lot of torpedoes incoming.
metal fish ahead. What? It makes torpedoes super easy to see. I'm sorry, I mean metal fish. It makes the metal fish easy to see. Oh god, my bad, my bad.
No, it's not your fault. My rudder were jammed. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Well, it appears I've been fired.
Oh no! Fuck! No! 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 No!
Time for a little payback.
Is your rudder still jammed?
Oh, that's...
Wow. Wow. The dodging I'm doing right now, it's like I'm in the Matrix. I'm the one, PJ. I'm
I know
starting to
the
believe.
feeling.
They still can't hit me.
Ooh. This was close.
Oh, you have no idea how close things are over here. A plane crashed like 2 feet in front of my ship.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It can hit you. Doesn't do that.
Oh, okay.
It just looked cool.
great, more metal fish. Where?
For crying out loud.
Why?
Behold the Armada! Good evening, sir.
Right.
What?
Chat. Chat. I did nothing this game, dude. Holy fuck.
Yeah, now you know how I feel.
Yeah, but I used the booster. Huh. 500k. Could be worse.
Wait, do I need a booster? Super battle. I have received 0 credits and XP because of your unsporting conduct.
What?
What? I didn't even do anything.
Did you torpedo your own ship? Oh, it's because you were out of the game so long.
What the? Dude, this game is... Oh my... Bro.
You were out of the game for like 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah, I'm back in the game.
Yeah, after too long.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll let the electricity... Whatever. If I was unsporting, I wouldn't have returned to the game to begin with. That's what I'm saying.
Right, yep.
That's the stupidest shit ever. Yeah, thanks for wasting my time. Yeah, no, this... Oh, dude, there's so much wrong with that. I'm not even gonna start.
I could get it, I just need the... Fucking hell.
How do I check my bonuses?
Did you turn on everything I did? Turn your stream back on. It's just easier,
Okay,
man.
I found it. I found it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Right click on that thing, by the way, so you're in the actual screen. Also, you see on the right side all those drop-down menus? I want you to close signals, upgrades, consumables, and modules. And exterior. Right, don't use those until you know what all of them are. You can ignore those for.
Okay.
And that's where you can, the economic bonuses is where you can see, if you right click that, it takes you to that screen.
Cool. I legit just can't believe I got punished for playing the game.
Well, you got punished for leaving.
The game crashed. It wasn't my fault. And I came back to continue playing the game. I got punished. I was still playing the game for like 2 or 3, 5 minutes.
Really?
I thought it was. But... I got punished for returning to the game. That's unbelievable.
Bro, I think the Russian ship is already crazy at 14 million. But I'm that close to the tier 10 either sub or Napoli that I'm like, I'll fine. Fuck it. Because that's gonna be hopefully like a good ship to get money on, right? So return on investment is high. Hopefully. I'm still not sure if I get the Napoli or the sub. I want both, obviously, but yeah. I still got till the 28th to... There, say again?
Is A4 where we're going to escort them?
I have no idea. I don't play this mission. I haven't played this mission. You have to escort the Ruan. Just follow the Ruan guy. Be fine. Or we die. Higher tiers, yeah, higher tiers give you more money. That's right. The Napoli, they're both level 10. They're both tier 10, max tier. But it's like which one should I do? I think am I gonna do best in, right? Because I really do like the submarines. I like the submarine gameplay style. But at tier 10, I'm not sure how good I'm gonna be with all of the fucking sonar and what the fuck not. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go for the Napoli first, even though I really want the U4501. Just because it's like, it's more straightforward. Ow. Dude, I was going forward. How am I getting into one? What? I know, right?
What the?
I wish you did still did sometimes. Dude, get off me, bro! Fucking
me?
No, this idiot next to me. Blocking my shots. Figures. That's why he was doing that, you little fuckheads.
Time for a little payback.
Why?
Because they're spawn on the other side. He's using me as cover.
You
Smoked up. Fuck him. See how you do now, bitch.
Fuck.
Wow, caught fire a little earlier than I thought it would.
That was centimeters away landing on my rear.
No. Oh my god. The one time a destroyer.
I gotta say, that's like the closest torpedo dodge I've had so far in this game. Am I gonna hit anybody? Oh.
I swear this fucker used me as cover. Leo. Please tell me that's not an actual. Okay, it's not. Thank God. Someone's nickname in this game was Leo. I was gonna be so mad, bro. That's all you could come up with.
I should change my name to Capricorn.
No, I meant like the actual just Leo. You know, the name, not the star
Yeah.
sign.
I'm going all out though. Scorpio, Libra, Leo.
Well, I'm a Scorpio, so I can deal with Scorpio. Put an N behind it, and you got a cool character. You know? I'm about to die.
Doggone it, that's it.
Are you?
No more. I'm tired of being kicked around by this world. Oh, thank God. Only dodged a bullet there.
Jean Bart. What a name. Jean Bart. Ugh, my eyes.
I know, right? It sucks. I missed him.
What the hell? Dude, what the Bro. What? Torpedoes just came from rocks again.
Well, no, this time it's planes.
Oh. Okay.
Bunch of torpedo bombers taking the piece.
do me a favor for Barbentos for having his eyes closed? They're running straight into me for no reason.
That's gonna hit the one. At least one's gonna hit.
Dude, we are going to A4.
Oh, I didn't reach. Fucking idiot AI. It's great. I'm surprised I made it over the cliff. Didn't matter. See, but I mean about the AA though, the Tracer Fire looks fucking swag.
Yeah, it does. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Where's the warning? Jesus Christ. Yeah, all the times to not say anything, you don't say anything now. Every other time, they're not even close to me. And they're like, torpedoes, bullseye. Where you at?
I'm behind.
Oh. What the? Turn? Turn?
Could have been worse.
Dude, how's the cruiser just as fast as I am? This cruiser is faster than me.
Oh, so close. Someone killed it, I guess. Nope. Fine.
Oh my god, I'm stuck. Oh, great.
I kind of thought that was moving. Wasn't.
Are you serious? This guy just cuts right in front of me.
Okay. Come on, 2 shells, 3 shells. Critical hits. Nope. Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
I think you died right. Yeah. I was about to say, I think we just won and you just died. Like. Beep.
Is this mode like the highest experience or something?
No, I guess PvP, if you do really well, it's probably better.
Ugh. I just want my submarine. See, let me check something. 40K. What?
Oh my god, I just realized the time. Okay. This was my last game. And eat. And then hopefully not pass out so we can stream some more later. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to quit anyway.
We all know how
It's a good
that's been.
stopping point.
Bro, you take my pills and then see how long you stay awake. Mm. I was gonna do something ever. I don't remember. I'm leaving anyway, Daint. I gotta go eat. Well, in 30 minutes I gotta take a pill and then eat. Yeah. I like the ship though. Damn, the dockyard ship. It's pretty chill in operations. Not sure how it performs in PvP yet. But it's alright. I'm not sure I want this one. This battle pass seems a little lackluster. Oh. Yeah. Pressure in your head is bad. I almost got the last. Not that I'll ever use any of these. I don't know. I like the game itself, so for me, it's not that grindy. I mean, it is grindy. Obviously, I know it's a grind. There's a lot of grind involved. But use the experience boosts. Don't use them in PvP, because if you die immediately, you'll get nothing. But use those experience boosts. This one specifically. Yeah. Yeah, just play. If you just play, you'll get missions anyway. But he's not playing to do a mission. He just wants a submarine, and he's almost there too. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go take a pill. Now, hopefully, I'm thinking I'm gonna eat some warm food today. Wish me luck. Be back when I'm back. Hopefully, again, I might pass out. I'm gonna be honest. I might pass out. Hopefully not. So I'll see you guys in hopefully an hour.